active shooting, we picked the most difficult set ever. Smoke, mirrors in every direction. Love it. Welcome to Twilight.
You're listening to Another Bite of Twilight, a podcast where we look back on our obsession with the Twilight saga and continue to freak out 10 years later. Hi guys.
Hello.
A happy Twilight Tuesday.
Happy Twilight.
Yeah.
I'm Kel.
I'm Mel.
And we're back for another bite of Twilight. Thanks for joining us, y'all.
Thank you for joining us. We just had mushroom ravioli. We're drinking some wine. We're getting lit. And
and we're here for you.
Yeah.
This is a new tradition. We did it last time we had mushroom ravioli.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we decided we're going to do it every time.
It's just at the supermarket. I didn't realize.
So did you just see it? You just walked by it? Oh, perfect.
I was looking at the ravioli section, and that was one of them. So
that's meant to be. Happy Halloween. It's going to be a few days after Halloween, but I hope you guys had a good holiday if you celebrate it.
Yeah.
I also hope that you were able to watch Kristen Stewart on SNL. We're recording this before then, so we don't have anything to share about it. But
I wonder if anything really cool will happen.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I hope something Twilight related happens. I mean, she's probably going to mention it, right?
Maybe. Are you going to see Charlie's Angels? Or are we going to see
Yeah, I think we'll see it together probably if we see it.
We live together, by the way, and we're cousins.
Yes.
And
best friends.
It's really a lot overlapping.
Yeah. We haven't seen the lighthouse. People keep telling us about it.
No, do you want to see the lighthouse or not? Because yesterday, or was it 2 days ago, you were like, you said it was scary.
I want to see it, but people have told me it's really disturbing and they couldn't sleep after. So I'm just scared.
Really?
Yeah, I'm scared about seeing it in theaters because I feel like that will be like more. People have said it's really disturbing.
Maybe if it's a rainy day, we can go to like a matinee.
Yeah, during the day I think would be better. I want to see it too.
I need to know, am I going with you or am I going with someone
Okay,
else?
no, you're going with me.
Okay.
You're going with me. If you leverage that, then yeah, we're going together. This weekend? Maybe we can see it this weekend.
Okay.
Yeah. We'll find a time.
Maybe.
We'll have your people call my people.
Okay. So, we're back today to continue talking about Breaking Dawn. This is book 2 of Breaking Dawn.
The book.
It's in Jacob's point of view. The
Yes.
book.
Yeah.
However, we have some things to say first before we start, digging into the text. Mel, take it away.
So we wanted to share that one of our amazing listeners, Natalie, actually sent us a package of goodies that was so nice.
It's crazy.
Oh my gosh, because she heard that we had just moved into a new place and she sent us so many housewarming gifts, snacks.
No, you didn't need to do that.
Oh my God. It made our day because we knew something was coming in the mail. So I went to check the mailbox and I went through the mail and I looked at all like the little packages and I did not expect a package so big. It had so many things in it.
And our address and everything was written in the Twilight font. It
Oh,
was so
yes.
cool.
Yeah. So she sent some just housewarming gifts, some snacks, and then also these beautiful ornaments of Bella and Edward.
Which
Collages, which some of them we saw at the festival and we admired how beautiful they are. I mean, those must have taken so long to make, and we're gonna frame them and hang them up in our living room.
Yeah, we saw those at the festival, and I actually make collages for fun, and I remember being really jealous of them. Like, wow, that's so good. I should have made something like that.
Yeah.
And then for us to receive them was such a surprise. It's connected. You know, what happened in September.
So we're gonna share her Etsy as well, and you guys have to check it out because it's so beautiful. And honestly, it's it's really affordable too.
Yeah, they're Twilight.
Yeah,
related. She made stickers too.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, guys.
Not worthy.
No, not worthy.
But it's just so nice because this is just our hobby, and to receive that I don't know, it feels so nice.
Yeah. I just say we've received a lot of nice messages lately and it's hard to put into words how much it means to us.
Yeah.
But I wanted to say that it's it really makes our day every single time.
Yeah.
We get a message like that. Like, we are still constantly shocked by it. Mm-hmm. And I'll just be having a really horrible day. I'll be really stressed about something happening at work. Mm-hmm. And whenever I read something like that, it stops me in my tracks and makes me realize just how genuinely kind people are in the world.
I know. I think the same thing. It's crazy to me when someone says, like, oh, me and my friends listen. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just weird when you hear the personal touch like that.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
It restores my faith in people. Yeah. Because people in the Twilight community are just so nice and so loving and passionate.
Yeah. So, thank you so much. I don't even know what to say.
Yeah.
But it made my life.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. It was like Christmas.
I know, it really was like Christmas. Oh, and she wrote us a letter. So sweet.
Mm-hmm. It's hard to describe just how much it means to us.
And speaking of, I posted on Instagram a picture of the Breaking Dawn sign that our other listener D made for us, which I mentioned before. But on it, I kind of, asked a question because we're talking about breaking down the book. So I said, like, hey, here's the sign D made. Also, like, we're discussing Jacob's book. What do you guys think of the switch to Jacob's point of view? So if you forgot or if you haven't read the book, it's split into 3 books, and the second one is in Jacob's point of view, which is a total departure from the rest of the series. And you guys on Instagram shared your opinion. Should I read some of them?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Nball 1997 said, it was kind of interesting to see it in a guy's point of view. I wish it was in Edward's point of view. And yeah, that would have been cool. I mean, I think we'll get to what we think about it later. But oh, by the way, if you hear like footsteps running in the background, it's my cat. He's freaking out for absolutely no reason. Well, I guess I'll just say, like, yeah, Edward's point of view would have been really cool. And I wonder why Stephanie chose to do Jacob's, but I think I know why.
I think I know why too.
But we'll get to that.
Lulu Hex said, so I like how it went to Jacob's point of view because it gave us more in-depth understanding of the story. It would have been cool if Midnight Sun was integrated with Twilight in a similar way. I heard that Stephanie gave Midnight Sun to Rob to read so he could understand his character better so we could get a little bit of that movie. And then I like how she corrected Stephanie because she accidentally spelled it with an A.
Yeah, I like that too.
Very pivotal or important.
Yeah. Edward and Bella, our goals, said could have been Edward's point of view. Mm-hmm. Oh, apparently Mel responded and said, if only. Sim to Third, we've mentioned you before.
Sim to Third 2.0.
Sim to Third 2.0. Yeah, friend of the pod, said, I'm not going to lie, Jacob's point of view is my favorite part of the book by far. Mm-hmm. For starters, we kind of got a little more insight on the wolves' ability in and out of their human form, such as their telepathy, hearing, speed, and enhanced strength, like Jacob was able to kick Rosalie across the room during Renesmee's birth, even though he most likely would have broke his toe.
Yeah.
He used his full strength. It was also cool seeing more of the wolf characters' personalities, such as Leah and Seth. Mm-hmm. That's true. And their interactions with the Cullens and how they view them. Like, Edward and Jacob's interactions were by far my favorite scenes, especially how Jacob was maturing after his disgusting character assassination in Eclipse. I remember you saying that, Sim. In Eclipse, and interactions with Rosalie ended up making me ship them. Same!
Yeah.
Spoiler. It was kind of cool seeing Bella's pregnancy from his perspective and how his mind works, which is pretty much what you'd expect from a teenager. His relationship with Leah was also another positive. I liked seeing her perspective on being rejected by someone she loves and managing to empathize with Jacob on that situation, despite their initial hostility towards one another. You could sense there was something building up between the duo, but then the entire section was ruined with that dreaded ending that Jacob would be forever remembered for by everyone who's seen her in the series. Mic drop.
I love this guy.
Yeah, oh my God. Seriously. Friend of the podcast. Thank you. Yeah, he has such insight.
Yeah, I love it. Because, I mean, we do have, I think 30% of our listeners are male, but not many of them are willing to reach out to us. And I just love hearing what guys have to say. Yeah, keep it coming. He's Team Jacob, but
that's okay.
I feel like I agree with him on so many things.
Yeah.
MDK06 said, I was annoyed the entire time because Jacob was narrating, probably because I'm biased towards Edward, but it was cool to see how he truly felt about everyone else, especially Bella. Seeing his perspective made him more likable and give his character more depth. Jacob still sucks, though. Team Edward all the way. I love your guys' podcast. Cool to see people so like Twilight as much as I do. Oh, thank you.
Wow. So, yeah, some different responses.
Angel said, I think it's cool. It's a cool switch, but it does come out of left field since we've never had anyone other than Bella's perspective the entire rest of the series. So I either wish there was more perspective switches, or she had kept it in all of Bella's.
Yeah, I see that. The inconsistency kind of bugs me.
Yeah, I do.
Angel, hello.
Angel, friend of the podcast as well. I do have an idea as to why it was switched into Jacob's, but we'll get to that later.
Ooh, you're teasing me, Mel.
Should we get into it?
Let's get into it. We always say that. All right, book 2, Jacob.
So this is Jacob's perspective.
Jacob, stop.
Because I don't want to lose you.
Not good enough.
So, yeah, this starts with a passage from A Midsummer Night's Dream.
I've never read that.
I did in freshman year of high school.
Wow, I'm ignorant.
It says, and yet, to say the truth, reason and love keep little company together nowadays. You know, it's interesting.
I agree with that.
I don't see A Midsummer Night's Dream being that much a Jacob story, besides the fact that the plot is people falling in love with the wrong people. I guess, yeah, you know what? Maybe I'm going to...
I think that's basically it.
Yeah. But it is a comedy, and I feel like Jacob is just so so melancholy.
Yeah. I know.
Doesn't really go, but...
He's not that funny.
Mm-hmm.
No offense, Jacob lovers. I'm so sorry. But I really hate to upset people by, trashing on your favorite character. It's just odd to me because Jacob is kind of always treated as like, oh, Edward's the serious, brooding vampire.
Jacob is really sad.
Yeah.
Especially because he is so young. And
he's very bitter.
Has so much turmoil. Yeah, he's very bitter.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess I can see why A Midsummer Night's Dream would connect, especially since it's about falling in love with the wrong person, but there's like someone that you're supposed to be with, and I guess that would be like Jacob and Renesmee.
Who's that? I don't know what you're talking about. I've talked about her before.
I guess it's like the connect. I would love to ask Stephanie like exactly like if she would dissect more their connection, but I don't really care that much.
So the preface, I actually think about this all the time.
Yeah, me too.
It's like a quote that's just in my head all the time. All it is life sucks and then you die. Yeah, I should be so lucky.
Very emo.
I think about it all the time.
Wait, so life sucks and then you die. That's a common thing that people say, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because it seems like he's commenting on it. It's in italics. And then, yeah, I should be so lucky. And I guess he's saying that because he doesn't die, but kind of does.
Yeah.
It's like this weird.
Yeah, he's going to die eventually, but it's uncertain.
Yeah.
When he will.
I should be so lucky.
I would love that.
What if he died?
No, if I
Oh.
wasn't going to die for a really long time.
Oh, yeah.
Something right away that's so different is the chapter titles are very more stream of consciousness.
They're very long.
They're very long, whereas Bella's are always very,
they're
one word, kind of dramatic and a lot of suspense on them, but these are more...
Yeah, they're like commentaries from consciousness.
So we start with chapter 8. It's waiting for the damn fight to start already. And here we are where the wedding has happened. Bella and Edward are on their honeymoon, and Jacob is just waiting to hear about any update on what's happened to Bella.
And Mal, remember we disagreed about this? It's confirmed here that Paul imprinted on Rachel, Jacob's sister, which I totally forgot about.
Yeah.
And in my notes, I was like, what?
Yeah, just last week I was saying, yeah, he imprints on Rachel, Jacob's sister. And she goes, no, he doesn't. Rachel's never there. Which Rachel actually, I don't think is here in this chapter.
Yeah,
She's just talked about.
Where is she? Just like
She never says anything. Yeah.
No. But I don't think it's true because you said that they got divorced.
Yeah.
Too. I don't
According
think that's true.
to a Twilight wiki page, they got married but got divorced, which I don't know. Like, why would they get divorced? I need more.
How can you get divorced if you imprinted?
I don't know.
I don't get it. But it's kind of cool because Paul, Alex Mraz, we have like this affection for him. And that's not in the movie. We don't see him like imprint on anybody. So
yeah,
it's kind of cool.
I think, and that seems like a very appropriate imprinting. You know, they're both similar in age and just makes sense.
Yeah, but Jacob's like pissed because Paul's just at his house pigging out and stuff, and it's annoying. And further upsets Jacob because he's forever alone while Bella's on her honeymoon, and he's just bitter that now his, you know, pack member is imprinted on his sister, which must be disturbing because he can read Paul's thoughts. I didn't even think of that.
Yeah. Ew.
He can like see memories of him hooking up with his sister.
Yeah,
Ew.
that's bad. That seems like very disturbing. I guess like that's a good reason why the pack separates.
Yeah. Spoiler. Okay, I wrote a note.
Yeah.
So we're reading, you know, you start reading this. It's a different point of view now. It's Jacob. Duh. And I don't know. It's just Jacob's inner voice is very casual. Very, very, very casual. And it kind of bothers me. And it kind of reminds me of Bree Tanner's inner voice. But I said that it's good. Like, it does sound much different from Bella's, which I think is good on Stephenie Meyer's part. Because sometimes I think when people do the point of view switching, they don't really capture different characters, you know what I mean? But here it's like obviously not Bella telling the story. So.
Yeah. You know what? I kind of liked Jacob's voice a little bit, or at least I liked seeing him in first person more. I feel like I understood him better, and he grew on me more. Yeah. Especially when you get to hear the things that he thinks that he doesn't share.
Yeah, I did like it. I think in the beginning I was just a little freaked out by how casual he was speaking. I don't have anything in specific, but
I noticed he always says bada bing, bada boom.
Oh yeah. Maybe something like that. Like I don't like that. Bada bing, bada boom.
Constantly says bada bing in his thoughts.
It's like a middle-aged Italian man.
I know. Bada bing, bada boom.
Yeah, what? Jacob.
At first I was like, yeah, this is a nice voice. And then like the fourth time he says bada bing, I'm like, okay, we get it, Jacob.
I know. Jacob.
But he does have some like good lines that really hit me. Like I could feel his pain. He says, I threw myself down on the bed. I was tired, hadn't slept since my last patrol, but I knew I wasn't going to sleep. My head was too crazy. The thoughts bounced around inside my skull like a disoriented swarm of bees. Noisy. Now and then they stung. Must be hornets, not bees. Bees died after one sting, and the same thoughts were stinging me again and again. Which I kind of like that.
I like that too.
Commentary.
Jacob.
And it's very dark. He says, I wondered, would a bullet through my temple actually kill me or just leave a really big mess for me to clean up? It's really sad and kind of melodramatic at times, but...
He's hurting. So... There's like a whole thing. Sorry if I'm jumping ahead, but I think he's talking to Quill. Which, if you forgot, guys, Quill imprinted on a girl named Claire who's like 2 years old.
Toddler.
Which means he love at first sight with the toddler. And he's talking about like her birthday party or something. And I just wrote in my notes, what the hell do Claire's parents think of Quill? He went to her birthday party? Surely they don't know about werewolves, since even Emily's mom doesn't know. So, like, yeah, because they mentioned that.
Yeah, wait, no, they even mentioned that some of their parents don't know.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure a lot of their parents don't know about it, and they're not allowed to know about it. Like, if you don't already know, basically, you're not allowed to know.
Quill doesn't explain to Claire's parents, obviously, that he imprinted on her.
They must be like, why is this teenage boy at our daughter's birthday party, like, hanging out with our daughter. Like, isn't that weird?
Yeah, that's super inappropriate.
With no explanation.
Yeah, I mean, Stephanie writes it as if the parents are cool with it. Like, he's babysitting the girl all the time. But it's
How did he
not...
even approach the family? Just like, hey, can I be your babysitter?
I honestly hated this whole section. I know it's setting up for the future plot to explain why, to like make it normal almost that Jacob imprints on Renesmee, but just the way Claire is speaking and the way Jacob and Quill are talking about it, it's so disturbing.
Oh yeah, Claire's like, Quill all wet now.
Yeah. Queen. Aw, oh damn. Like, she's not even speaking, proper English.
Jacob says, you're such a patsy. Quill shrugged. Claire had a great time. That was the point.
Yeah, and then Jacob says to Quill, would you ever think about dating, until she gets older? So already it's like, oh, you only have to date until she's full grown and then you're going to be with her. And Jacob says, I'm sure she wouldn't mind. And it's like, yeah, no shit, she wouldn't mind. She's 2 years old. She doesn't know what dating is. Like, yeah, it's so weird
again, the whole like, could be a brother, a friend,
a protector. But like you have it in...
It's always
lover.
It's
always lover. It literally always is.
It's always lover. I wrote, though, also in my notebook, okay, this is really disturbing. I don't dispute that. But, and it's so effing weird, but I almost admire Stephanie for trying something so weird and so unique and just like putting it out there. Yeah. Maybe it doesn't land well, but I admire her
for taking a risk. Yeah.
Her risk taking. It's probably not easy and
Do you think she regrets it?
Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe.
But yeah, I do admire that. Mm-hmm. It's weird.
So when Jacob asks, would you ever date someone? Quill says, I can't see it. I can't imagine. I just don't see anyone in that way. I don't notice girls anymore, I don't see their faces. Which that sounded so sad to me that like he has to basically be a babysitter. Yeah, he enjoys it, but like for this girl until she's full grown. And then
sad.
Also it's like this little girl, this little toddler is kind of the one who's like controlling his like libido in a way. You know what I mean? Like that's just disturbing to me.
It's interesting that the wolves get this like happiness but without any choice. Yeah. It's like they're happy about it, but they don't have any control over it. Yeah. It's just handed to them.
I wrote that I think that Seth is way more feisty in the book than in the movie.
He is.
Jacob in wolf form is thinking about killing the Cullens if Bella's dead. And
yeah, because I wrote really good points from Seth.
Jacob is just thinking about how he wants to kill the Cullens or something. And Seth says, so what are you going to do when Bella fights with them, Jacob? Huh?
Oh, yeah.
And then Jacob says, she's not Bella anymore. And then he says, you're going to be the one to take her down? Jacob says, I couldn't stop myself from wincing. No, you're not. So what? Says Seth. You gonna make one of us do it and then hold a grudge against us forever? I wouldn't. Sure you won't. You're not ready for this fight, Jacob. Like, Seth seems very mature.
Those are the good points from Seth.
Yeah, whereas in the movie, Seth, it's more like, hi.
Yeah. Yeah, no, he's really mature. He understands the Cullens. He likes the Cullens. He trusts them. But, like, also, he sees, like, Jacob, you don't really want to fight them.
Yeah, he calls people out.
We're going to pay for it if we do. So, Seth's awesome.
There's so many little awkward moments with Leah here in the pack. Like, Sam, for instance, says, are you ready to lose a brother? He paused. Or a sister? He tacked on as an afterthought.
Brother or lover? Sibling?
But Sam here seems very wise. He says that they're not going to fight the Cullens, and he says, the pack is not attacking the Cullens without provocation. The spirit of the treaty remains. They are not a danger to our people, nor are they a danger to the people of Forks. Bella Swan made an informed choice, and we're not going to punish our former allies for her choice. Which I think is very mature and like shows growth that like they're like, we've worked together before. We're not going to like start this shit just for the sake of it.
It would be just for the sake of it, because they know the context that Bella's choosing this.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it would be pointless to attack them. I said that I liked how this chapter ends.
I did too.
Where he's hiding his thoughts from the rest of the pack. He says he's going to go attack alone, which is dumb of him, but he transforms into a human. He said, I'd done it. I'd hidden what I was thinking, and now it was too late for Sam to stop me. He couldn't hear me now. Sam made very clear ruling. The pack would not attack the Cullens. Okay. He hadn't mentioned an individual attacking alone. Nope, the pack wasn't attacking anyone today, but I was.
Okay. I like the prose at the end. He says, I think he's still a wolf here, and he says, I ran away from them, trying very hard not to think about what was next. Instead, I concentrated on my memories of the long wolf months of letting the humanity bleed out of me until I was more animal than man. Living in the moment, eating when hungry, sleeping when tired, drinking when thirsty, and running. Running just to run. Simple desires, simple answers to those desires. Pain came in easily managed forms. The pain of hunger, the pain of cold ice under your paws. The pain of cutting claws when dinner got feisty. Each pain had a simple answer, a clear action to end the pain. Not like being human. It's really sad, but I feel like it kind of connects.
That was well written.
It's giving me very much New Moon vibes.
Good job, Stephanie Meyer.
Yeah. It's very well written.
Nice.
I have to say, like, a lot of these passages, we got some flack last time for saying that this book is weird, and I can't deny it's very weird, and some things I really, really don't like. But I have to say the prose in this and just a lot of sentences are very beautiful, I think. Yeah. And I can tell that Stephanie just got very deep into it and deep into the world and connected with her character so much. And for that, I think it's really captivating.
Yeah. Also, this actually has happened in my personal life outside of the podcast, where I always say things are weird or crazy. I always say that, but I don't necessarily mean bad.
Yeah.
I think that for whatever reason in my head, weird means something a little different. It's like, it's out there, it's different, like it's weird, but that doesn't mean like horrible. It doesn't mean like I hate it. It just means it is out there. Yeah. It's really different. I don't think there's any other series that has a story like this. And to me, I said this at the festival when we were talking to like B, that Breaking Dawn is so freaky to me. It seems like an 80s movie or something where it's just like, what?
Yeah.
Or like, I don't know. I don't think it really even fits in the 2000s, but if it came out a long time ago, I almost think people would accept it more. Like, oh, well, it's just weird. Like, it's from the 70s. Like, things were weird back then.
Yeah, it feels very like experimental almost. Yeah. Which I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. Yeah.
And like I said, like not that I agree with it if it was real. Like, I don't literally want people to be dating or planning on dating 2-year-olds. I don't agree with that, but I do admire Stephanie for trying something like very different. So, yeah.
And the person was like, "Are you guys even real fans?" Yeah, we have a podcast.
I dedicate hours of my life to Twilight.
Yeah, we traveled like 6 hours to Forks. We spent like $2,000. Yeah, we are real.
We're fans, okay? Our apartment has multiple framed pictures of Twilight.
Yeah. Framed. We got command strips, okay?
You know how much those are? They're a lot.
Yeah, with the risk that they could fall.
We are pretty legit Twilight fans.
Yeah, so don't question that.
Had to endure humiliation from strangers, my workplace, anybody we tell about having a podcast. Yep.
Any of my coworkers who add me on social media, they now know, and
yeah,
we're real fans.
We're fans.
Don't worry. All right, so chapter 9.
Chapter 9. It's called "Sure as Hell Didn't See That One Coming." And then after that, you're like, what?
Yeah. My first note is on page 165. And there's Billy mentions how Paul is eating all the food, or Jacob mentions it.
Yeah.
And Billy's side have to start hiding the groceries if we're going to avoid starvation. And my first note is, how can they afford groceries? Who is working in this family?
Maybe Billy gets like money from disability or something.
Oh, maybe.
But that's not enough.
Yeah.
But maybe that's why they would starve. I know, like someone needs to work.
Yeah.
Jacob, get a part-time job.
Mm-hmm. I mean, none of them work. Literally, none of them.
None of them will
Well,
do anything.
Someone corrected us once and said they do work, but they just don't show it. But there's no evidence
How are we supposed to know?
Yeah.
At least tell us.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, maybe they do have jobs, but it was never explained.
I know that not everything can be explained or mentioned, but I don't like how so much is like, I don't like when something's like, well, it's in the guide. And it's, if it's that important or if it's a loophole or something, I think it should be in the story.
Well, that's how I feel about Harry Potter.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get why J.K. Rowling didn't just put stuff in the book if she meant it.
Yeah.
Just put it in there.
Like, if it's in the guide, okay, I'll kind of accept it as canon. But if it's not really in the series, then it's not that important. Like, I think that you were then open to interpret what you want.
I totally agree, Mel. Also, I don't know, this always happens with teen things. Like TV shows, they always forget about school and stuff. And it's like, what the heck? Just show us at least one scene of them doing homework.
Or like Gossip Girl, they all got into Ivy League schools or really good schools.
I know.
And then
even though they did nothing.
They go for one semester and then you never see them there again. And they don't mention dropping out or anything.
Like how did you even, I guess they were rich, but how did you even get into those schools when you're drinking like martinis on a Tuesday? Yeah. When you're 16.
Yeah. Yeah, and like having all this drama and seemingly no studies.
Or the OC. Oh my God. So you didn't watch the OC, right?
No.
But one of the main characters was depicted as being like a ditz. All she cares about is celebrity gossip, shopping, blah, blah, blah.
Rachel?
Yeah, Rachel. And then at the end of high school, it's like, oh yeah, I'm smart. I'm going to Brown. Like, what?
Oh my God.
I know. Well, you didn't show us that the whole time.
Yeah.
When were you ever studying?
I hate that too.
Anyway, tangent. But do the wolves have jobs? That's what we want to know.
I do like how there's more references to Jacob's mom. There's not a lot, but I think it gives us more, I guess, sympathy for his character and insight into why he is the way that he is, maybe. Because you kind of think of him as being just Jacob and Billy. You don't really remember that he has his whole family.
Yeah, more realistic.
Yeah, like he's one of 3 kids. Like Billy says to him, we've only had her home, meaning Rachel, for a few weeks. First time she's been here in a long time. It's hard. The girls were older when your mom passed. They have more trouble being in this house. And Jacob just says, I know. But then Jacob, a lot of times you can tell very subtly that his mom's death still affects him. Like there's a part with Esme where he says, I could see a bit of my mom in her. There's something
That's sad.
Yeah, there's mentions to his mom sprinkled in, which I think is important.
I feel like that's, until now, hadn't really been touched upon enough that Jacob lost his mom. Like, it's really sad.
Yeah.
He's had a hard life.
Yeah.
Now I'm getting sad.
Yeah, and it's something I would almost kind of want to know more about, but I don't think it's something that Jacob ever feels comfortable talking about, so we can only really see it in his perspective.
Honestly, like, I'm interested in Jacob. I would like to know more about him.
Yeah.
Like, who else has he had a crush on? What was he up to before Bella came around?
Yeah.
I'm curious. Okay, so Jacob goes to the Cullens house to see what's going on.
I thought it was funny that he gets there and Carlisle says, it's not really the best time, can we do this later? And Jacob's there to like kill them, basically.
Oh, yeah.
And Jacob says, I stared at him dumbfounded. Was he asking to postpone the death match for a more convenient time? Like, that kind of actually happens a lot with Jacob, as he's, like, very serious and there for battle, and the Cullens just downplay it so much.
I know.
But he reveals here in his narrative that he actually does really like Carlisle, and he's very reluctant to admit that, but compared to all the other ones, he thinks Carlisle's like a human, especially since Carlisle took care of him, and so he really can't criticize him.
He says, I would stay away from Carlisle when the fight started.
Mm-hmm.
There were enough of them to kill without including him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he really
Respects it.
Carlisle.
Like, kind of has a crush on him.
He would spare Carlisle.
Mm-hmm. Who says the doctor? He doesn't say the bloodsucker.
Yeah, I love Carlisle too. Doctor. I like that Jacob likes Carlisle.
Yeah.
Like, for all his rage, he can't feel that towards Carlisle.
Yeah.
Yeah, could there be some romance? Blossom.
We were saying yesterday that Jacob has chemistry with a lot of different people. It's weird.
Yeah. We'll get to it.
Yeah, but Carlisle being one of them. So he gets there, and so the story that people have heard is that Bella is sick, and that's what Charlie's been told.
Yeah.
And no one believes that. They think she's either dead or she's a vampire. So Jacob gets there, and to his surprise, Bella's sitting on the couch, and she is still human, and she's still sick. And so it's almost like this kind of vindicated moment for me. I'm like, yeah, Jacob, like, you were wrong. But actually, like, there is something that he can be pissed about.
Yeah.
But I thought it was so gross. He gets there, and he says there's no fear as Bella glanced up at her now. Her expression was apologetic or something. Then Rosalie snatched a basin from the floor and held it under Bella's chin just in time for Bella to throw up noisily into it. It's gross.
It's life.
Mm-hmm.
Edward fell to his knees by Bella's side, his eyes all tortured looking, and Rosalie held out her hand, warning him to keep back.
Yeah, and at this point, he doesn't know that
Edward.
she's pregnant. But then Bella stands up and he sees the bump and he puts it all together and then he's pissed.
And then he's pissed.
Bada bing, bada boom.
Oh my god.
He says, I didn't want to imagine him inside her. I didn't want to know that something I hated so much had taken root in the body I loved. My stomach heaved. I had to swallow back vomit.
So pregnant, so sick, because whatever was inside her was taking her life to feed its own. Because it was a monster, just like its father. Whoa. Oh, I thought that was funny. This is what I underlined. Rosalie pulled Bella off the couch. Edward stayed where he was, sagging forward till his face was buried in the cushion.
Oh,
He just flops forward and his face is in the cushion. I love Edward.
Oh,
he's
so
quirky.
sad. Yeah, he's quirky, but I don't even think that's not even funny.
Well, I know it's not I know it's not funny. It's sad.
Mm-hmm.
It's sad and quirky.
Mm-hmm.
If that can be possible. I don't know, all the descriptions. I hate that she's really pregnant but also super skinny.
Mm-hmm.
That disturbs me.
Yeah.
You know? It makes me sad because I wish Bella could have had a normal pregnancy, you know, where she's pregnant in a healthy way and her and Edward could take pictures.
Yeah.
And it could be, you know,
The
normal and
pregnancy
cute.
photo
Yeah,
shoot.
like that'd be so nice for them. It makes me sad that they couldn't have a nice
It was,
pregnancy.
yeah, it was so plagued by
Yeah.
anxiety and like
Death.
death. Yeah.
It always feels surreal to me. Like, do you feel this way? I never get used to the idea of Bella being pregnant until it's like over.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It just
Me
doesn't.
too.
Maybe it's because I never get to have those nice moments. It just doesn't feel like you would expect it to.
Yeah,
I don't know.
that makes sense. It doesn't feel like a baby's coming.
Especially in Jacob's point of view, it's like
Yeah.
2 days till she dies.
Yeah. It's not like 2 days until the delivery
Yeah.
of my future wife.
yeah.
There's another moment where I think it's funny how they downplay Jacob's feelings. Edward says, I'm not ready for you to kill me yet, Jacob Black, he whispered as he paced quickly away from the house. You have to have a little patience. Like I cared about his schedule, I growled under my breath. Patience isn't my specialty. I just thought that was funny. Like Edward's just calling the shots. And,
Yeah. So true.
But he's looking at Edward here, and I think we talked about this maybe in our Team Jacob episode. There's a moment of growth where
Oh, yeah.
he's looking at how much pain Edward is in, and he says, for a second, I was just a kid who had lived all of his life in the same tiny town. Just a kid, because I knew I would have to live a lot more, suffer a lot more to ever understand the searing agony in Edward's eyes. Like, he really does sympathize with him, even if he's not willing to admit that yet. And
It's true.
I think it's sweet. And later he says, he'd had time to get to this point. It was different because I had already lost her so many times in my head. And different because she was never really mine to lose. Which, before it feels like he doesn't really understand that, but he really does.
Edward did think she was dead before.
Yeah.
Whatever.
And Edward falls to his knees again. It's really sad.
Fall on your knees and hear.
Is that a Catholic song?
The angel's voice.
Oh, it's a Christmas song, right?
Yeah. Oh, night divine.
It's funny. Edward wants to kill Rosalie. Like, legitimately kill her. Like, Jacob's like, why can't we take Rosalie out, basically? And, he says, so take the blonde out first. Your kind can be put back together, right? Turn her into a jigsaw and take care of Bella. And then Edward says, Emmett and Esme are backing her up. Emmett would never let us, and Carlisle won't help me with...
Oh my god!
Help me with Esme against it. He trailed off, his voice disappearing.
He
like,
would.
He's thought about it. Yeah, he's like giving the rationale why he wouldn't.
And is he basically also saying here that Carlisle would do it if Esme wasn't against it?
Kind of. He said, yeah, Emmett would never let us. And Carlisle won't help me with Esme against it. So it's Esme the one who won't back it up. Yeah, it says Emmett and Esme are backing her
Well,
up.
Carlisle effing loves Edward, so I think he would actually terrify Rosalie.
Yeah, he only created Rosalie for Edward's sake.
He's like, oh, fuck, this didn't even work out. Like, this is a waste of time. Just kidding.
So it seems like only Emmett and Esme are on Rosalie's side. But then Alice and Jasper, you think they're on Edward's side? And
I
so they're...
I think they are.
Yeah.
I think Alice is on Edward's side, at least. Alice doesn't care about the fetus.
Yeah. But Esme has Carlisle whipped, so Carlisle would never...
Esme is not over her... Remember? her... I'm sorry, this is nothing to laugh about. I shouldn't have laughed about it, but her child that she lost.
It's only funny because...
It's only funny because during the baseball scene, she so weirdly is like, did you know I lost a child? Poor thing. Like,
it didn't fit at all. It's not funny, but it's awkward.
Tragedy, but yeah, the fact that she just brought it up casually.
It's not well written in that part, no.
That's the only reason I'm laughing, and now I'm laughing because I'm not supposed to. Yeah, so everyone has their own complicated relation to this problem.
I feel like Jasper's not even here.
Jasper's, like outside smoking.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
I haven't even seen him in this story at all.
Anyway, has Jasper been in Breaking Dawn?
I haven't seen in the wedding.
The bachelor party thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But besides that, like, he's not here in the room when they're all just sitting here.
More Jasper, please.
I think it's cute, Edward says, if it's a child. Well, so basically, Edward takes Jacob outside and says this crazy plan of, like, if she wants a baby, she can have it. Like, she can have it with you. Like, he's, like, begging Jacob, please convince her to have a baby with you, which is so disturbing and awkward and cringy and horrible.
I mean, I think it's kind of cool of Edward.
It's cool, yeah. It shows that he really selflessly loves Bella so much that he would just do anything for her.
But it is weird.
Yeah. But so he says, if it's a child she wants, she can have it. She can have a dozen babies, anything she wants. He paused for one beat. She can have puppies if that's what it takes. I thought, oh, that'd be so cute if Bella and Edward had just like a million puppies.
Aww. Would Edward want to drink their blood?
Not if Bella didn't want him to. Like, at this point, I don't think...
he can refrain himself.
Yeah, at this point, I think he's so controlled.
Yeah, it is crazy. It's one of the wildest things about this book, I think, is that Edward basically tells Jacob, like, yeah, you can have sex with Bella.
Yeah.
And have a kid with her. That'd be so complicated.
Oh, yeah. Because Jacob would be the dad, and
you have, like, custody.
Yeah.
That would be crazy.
And it could be a wolf, and like Edward's a stepdad, but yeah, it's too complicated.
It would be really complicated.
Yeah. I mean, it's still really complicated the way it is now.
Yeah.
But I thought something that was also interesting is Edward says to Jacob, "You have to make her see reason, Jacob. She won't listen to me anymore. Rosalie's always there, feeding her insanity, encouraging her, protecting her. No, protecting it. Bella's life means nothing to her." And I think that's interesting because Edward can actually read Rosalie's thoughts. So he knows, Rosalie deep down.
That's true.
So he knows that Rosalie actually does not care about Bella's life, and it's only about...
I hadn't really considered that.
Yeah, it's only about the baby's life. Like, I feel like a lot of people think of this moment as Rosalie's redemption, but she really does not still care about what Bella wants.
I gotta say, I'm not trying to throw shade to anybody, but on the internet, in the fandom, you could say, especially on Tumblr, people love Rosalie and are always talking about how, like, she was
How
done an
fierce she is,
injustice,
yeah.
and, like, she's a great character, and it's not fair that she's just the, quote, bitch character, which, like, I don't really know what we're supposed to make of that. Like, is an author supposed to make every character likable? I don't think so, but, like, I don't know. I don't think we have any evidence that Rosalie actually is a good person.
No, I don't think so either. Because this seems very selfish. I think that she'd almost prefer for Bella to die so she can be like the mother of this child.
Yeah.
I don't think that she cares if Bella lives or dies.
When Bella, jumping ahead after the baby's born, she kind of just runs off with Renesmee.
Yeah.
Doesn't really care what's going on with Bella in the other room. So, I guess someone has to watch Renesmee, but...
Yeah. I mean, yeah. And Edward knows for sure that Rosalie
Edward knows
doesn't care.
everything. He would know. Maybe that's why Carlisle is okay with the idea of getting rid of Rosalie. Because he trusts Edward and knows that Edward knows her soul.
Yeah.
Why is Emmett put up with Rosalie just for, like, sex?
I don't know. Yeah, I guess it kind of speaks to Emmett's character. But I mean...
Come on, babe, it's just a game.
My monkey man. But Emmett doesn't really know what's in Rosalie's head all the time.
True.
And I don't think that Edward's the type of person to, like, rat her out to people.
No.
But
I like that about Edward. He keeps things to himself usually.
yeah.
Sometimes too much. Remember that whole thing about him knowing that the Volturi knew about Victoria?
Yeah.
For some reason doesn't tell anybody that. It's like, why? I think that was inconsistency, but...
Yeah. But, no, so I want to know what you guys think about Rosalie here. Do you think that she's acting in Bella's best interest, or do you think that she's being selfish? I think it's almost a little bit damaging. I mean, Leah later explains it as well, but, like, you can understand that maternal instinct to want to protect your child, even if it comes at the cost of your own life.
Yeah.
But I think that it's not Rosalie's place to...
It's not her life.
No, it's not her life. I don't think it's Rosalie's place to egg Bella on to do that.
Yeah. I think it's great of, like, Bella needed someone. This is what Bella wants. It's Bella's choice. And so she reached out to someone to support her and be there for her. And that's really nice of Rosalie to support Bella. But she's taking it, like, further than that. It's not really just supporting Bella. It's like...
convincing Bella, I feel.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like she needs someone who's supportive of her, but not influencing her.
Yeah. Someone who's being realistic. You know?
Complicated, but basically I was thinking Rosalie's not great. Also, I miss this whole thing. I think it's crazy that Edward is like, Jacob, you could have a child with her. And we have to just remind ourselves that Jacob is like 17 years old.
Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah, is he ready for that?
No.
Now?
Still in high school? I don't know.
Oh my god. I know, I keep thinking Jacob's like my age, which I'm 24, but...
Again, in teen stories, I feel like they always seem way older than they are.
So true. Edward totally seems 30.
Yeah, well, he's 100.
True. Is that the end of that chapter?
Yeah, that's pretty much all I had. Chapter 10 is called, Why Didn't I Just Walk Away? Oh, right, because I'm an idiot. Yeah.
I think it's interesting. These are just opening lines. I felt like I don't know what. Like, this wasn't real. Like, I was in some goth version of a bad sitcom. I like that.
Yeah.
I wonder also, though, why goth is capitalized. I don't know.
I don't know. I thought about that, too. Do you think that's a typo?
Yeah.
Maybe goth, like the goth family on The
Sims.
Sims.
Bella Goth.
Yeah, Bella Goth. That is her name. On The Sims, you guys know Mortimer Goth.
Yeah.
Bella
oh
Goth.
my God.
Yeah.
It's in every version of
Alexander Goth. Yeah.
The Sims. Maybe.
Yeah.
I wonder if Stephanie Meyer plays The Sims.
Maybe. That's weird. I like how he's like positive. I say like quite a bit.
What do you mean, like, positive? Oh. Says the word like.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know.
I don't know.
Like this one. Like, yeah, he says like so many times. Oh my God. Please don't hate us for saying like.
I think that saying like is not as annoying as people think it is.
Not as annoying as people think it. What if someone does think it is?
Well, I feel it's not as annoying.
Oh.
I guess.
You personally.
I personally
Okay.
am not offended by it, but I know other people
Sometimes
are.
I think it can be a bit much, but
Mm-hmm.
I also think, I don't know. I think every language has things like that, so
Mm-hmm.
it happens.
I underlined this sentence and I wrote weird. I don't remember why I thought it was weird, so I'm just going to read it aloud.
Okay.
Instead of being the AV dweeb about to ask the head cheerleader to the prom, I was a finished second place werewolf. I don't know what finished means. About to ask the vampire's wife to check up and procreate. Maybe like finished, like he's
Oh, dead or something?
dead, yeah. Jacob has made some comments. It's on page 188.
Mm-hmm.
Bella's very sick, and he's just like making comments about how she looks gross. I thought that was kind of mean.
It is mean. Says that in the movie too. He's like, you look like hell.
Yeah, she says, I know, I'm scary looking, and he says, thing from the swamp scary. Like, okay, she's very vulnerable right now.
know.
We don't need to tell her how ugly she is, too.
And then, of course, Bella, she laughed. It's so good having you here.
Mm-hmm.
That's her response to him saying that's thing from the swamp scary.
I'd be like, get the fuck out.
I know. I'd be very upset if someone said that to me.
Yeah, I'd be like, do you know what I'm going through? And a lot of times I look pretty.
I hate it when someone says like, "Oh, you look tired." Or,
Oh, that's the
"You look
worst.
sick." That's the worst thing someone can say to you.
Every time I don't wear makeup, someone's, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, this is my face. I thought it was funny. Bella says, did you know that I told you so as a brother, Jacob?
Oh yeah.
His name is Shut the Fuck Up. And then,
Shut the
shut the hell up.
There are no F words.
Yeah.
Twilight.
And then Jacob says, good one. And then she grinned, her skin stretched tight over the bones. I can't take credit. I got off a rerun of The Simpsons, which is funny because I feel like there's no references to pop culture.
I know.
So
Bella watches The Simpsons.
doesn't seem.
What?
Yeah.
Maybe with Charlie.
Yeah. Well, they were sitting around watching TV a lot.
True. And Bella doesn't have many hobbies, as we know.
Yeah.
I liked the line when, because Jacob's saying like, Bella, you gotta stop this. Like, you're dying. You're gonna die. And he says, you've been trying to keep up with the supernatural for too long. No normal person can do it. You're not strong enough.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I guess I just like that they call out the supernatural for some reason, and it's kind of true.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it's sort of cool, you could say, badass, that she actually is strong enough.
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing like a big shrug face right now. But yeah, because everyone's so sure she's not going to survive it. When you
Yeah.
were reading this for the first time, Mel, did you think she was actually going to die?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
I think I knew she would survive. So, and especially rereading it,
Yeah.
it feels a little bit silly to have all this will she, won't she, because you know you're going to see Bella as a vampire. And also we know that vampire venom is very strong and it saved all these other vampires. So,
Safer.
yeah, it's not too scary, but I think it's more just maybe how dragged out it is. I did want to touch upon, so we always make fun of the line in the movie where he says, what was the point? You loving him, me loving you. And we're like, well, you could apply that to anyone because, you know, if you die, like, what was the point of all of this?
Yeah.
And I don't know, for some reason I felt like that line made more sense in the book.
What page is it on?
189. He says, do you really think that just because I might someday imprint on some stranger, it would make this right? I jabbed a finger toward her swollen body. Tell me what the point was then, Bella. What was the point of me loving you? What was the point of you loving him? When you die, the words were a snarl. How was that ever right again? What's the point to all the pain? Mine, yours, his. You'd kill him too. Not that I care about that. She flinched, but I kept going. So what was the point of your twisted love story in the end? If there's any sense, please show me, Bella, because I don't see it. So I feel like, I don't know, maybe there's just like more lines in this part, but it's like, you know, we just went through all of this and then you're just gonna die. Whereas it feels more immediate, but like I feel like in the movie it just seems silly of like.
I think like he has every right to feel that way, and that's how life feels sometimes. What was the point? But that is also how life is.
Yeah.
You know, that's just how it is. Like when somebody dies, you're always in the middle of something, so it's really sad. So it's a real feeling he's having here, and that he's grappling with. Like, why is this happening? But
I think it's more
things don't get wrapped up in a bow before someone dies.
I think it's more that she's choosing to risk her life for this, and saying like, you know, you just chose Edward, and now you're gonna die, and it doesn't seem like it was towards any future. I
think to her though, like ultimately, this is more important than Edward and Jacob. So
sadly,
and especially more than Jacob. I mean, that's not her husband, so
he doesn't really have a say.
I guess. Yeah, I know. Like it is sucky, and I relate to his struggle here. Oh, he like tries to subtly bring up Edward's idea of him having a baby with Bella.
It's super awkward.
It is.
He says on page 194, what if this wasn't a one-shot deal? What if it wasn't all or nothing? What if you listened to Carlisle like a good girl and kept yourself alive? I circled good girl and was like, ew, I hate that.
Good girl.
Ooh. Oh my God, my friend who runs because that line reminded me of it. My friend who runs the Twilight social medias, he texted me and said, what's the most iconic Twilight song? And he asked me between Flightless Bird, 1,000 Years, and then Possibility. And I picked Flightless Bird, and then he put it in a tweet for the Twilight Twitter handle.
Cool.
So if you guys saw that tweet, that was me.
I love Flightless Bird. Maybe I'll listen to that tonight and just lie there.
Yeah, I do it all the time.
And she says, I don't understand. What do you mean, try again? You can't think Edward would let me. And what difference would it make? I'm sure any baby. Yes, I snapped. Any kid of his would be the same. Her tired face just got more confused. What?
Yeah, so basically he's like very slowly trying to say you could have a baby with someone else if you want to be a mom. To be honest, I don't really like her reaction to it. She says on page 195, ugh, please, Jacob, you think I should kill my baby and replace it with some generic substitute, artificial insemination? She's mad now. Why would I want to have some stranger's baby? I suppose it just doesn't make a difference. Any baby will do. Which, I don't like that she says artificial insemination. I was born through IVF. And I think that's a really offensive way to say that.
Yeah, well, we know that, like, all she cares about... I mean, she loves Edward so much that that's why she's going through all of this. She just wants to have Edward's kid. And then he's like, I didn't mean that. Not a stranger.
So awkward.
And she's leaned forward. Then what are you saying? Nothing. I'm saying nothing. Same as ever. Where did that come from? Forget it, Bella. Did he tell you to say that? And she realizes it, figures it out, and says, he would do anything for me, and I'm hurting him so much.
Edward is a lot sweeter and sad in the book, whereas in the movie, he's like, you've given me no choice, you know?
Even though that's hot.
Yeah, I like that. But he's more just desperate.
You've given me no choice! And on page 196, Jacob says, she knew what I was offering, and she wasn't going to think twice about it. I'd known that she wouldn't, but it still stung. And I think it's a crazy proposition, but he still rejected. So it must hurt a little bit. Rejected. She's not going to have sex with you.
Yeah, sorry. She'd rather die.
It's actually true.
Yeah.
Sorry, she'd rather die. Poor Poor Jacob.
I bracketed on page 197. He says, I almost went back. I almost turned around and fell down on my knees and started begging again. But I knew that I had to quit Bella, quit her cold turkey before she killed me like she was going to kill him. Sad. But so shows some growth on Jacob's part.
Yeah. Finally.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it takes a hard situation for someone to
say, this is it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Selena and Justin, and Haley Baldwin. Have you heard his new song?
No.
Yeah, it's all kind of like, once she got with Haley, it was like, you know what, I'm done. I'm turning around. I'm done with this. Or like Wendy.
Well, they're married.
Yeah, they're married. So she was like, you know what, this is over. Or like Wendy Williams, her husband had a baby with someone else. And so she was like, this is the final straw.
Well, good.
Yeah.
My God.
But sometimes you need something awful like that or something so devastating to be like, never again.
Jacob
just walk away. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is like Jacob's Haley Baldwin.
Haley Bieber.
Haley Bieber, yeah.
She goes by that now.
Yeah.
In all the magazines. So, I wrote here in my notes, the wolves want to kill Bella. Leah says she's dying anyway, and Jake attacks her.
Tension. It's in the movie as well. In my least favorite scene in the whole series.
They're all talking in their heads.
Jacob, Jake, 8 voices chorus.
Protect the tribe. Protect our families. We have to kill it before it's too late.
There's one part where it's just exclamation points.
Oh, yeah. I like that. It's like that Billie Eilish track.
Yeah.
The thing is growing swiftly. No time to waste.
Not safe, not right, dangerous.
We're ready.
Unnatural, monstrous, an abomination.
I hate that part.
How can this be? What does it mean? What will it be? We can't allow it.
It's way better in the books. I mean,
yeah.
In a book, it's much more natural to read different people's thoughts.
Oh, gosh.
It doesn't work in a movie.
No, did not work at all.
Do you remember, actually, you know what, I'm going to stick up for this a little bit, that a wicked long time ago, on Stephanie Meyer's website, I remember she had a Q&A about Breaking Dawn, and people were asking, like, will they ever make a movie about Breaking Dawn? And she said, I honestly don't think it could be made into a movie. It just doesn't really make sense. They did make a movie, but I admire that I've said admire so many times, that she admitted that. Like, I don't know if they should make a movie.
Yeah.
She knew, but then she ended up, co-producing it.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I kind of agree. I mean,
some things don't translate, yeah.
Please don't take offense.
Yeah.
You did the best you could, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But
he is listening.
But it's a hard material to translate into screen. It's really difficult.
Yeah. This scene in particular with all the wolves, it should have been readapted.
It should have just been when they were human. They could have shown, I know this is jumping ahead because we're probably going to talk about the movie eventually, but they could have just had Jacob running, and he's thinking all these things, then he phases into human, and then meets up with all the rest of them, and they already heard it, and so they talk about it.
Yeah, and then he maybe phases again, and then maybe we see them just like looking at each other, but we don't hear their thoughts.
Yeah. Oh well.
Yeah, can't go back.
Oh, I wrote, Jacob thinks it would be murder to kill Carlisle.
Yeah.
Carlisle Cullen. Looking at him without the hate clouding my eyes, I couldn't deny that killing him was murder. He was good as any human we protected. Maybe better. The others too, I supposed, but I didn't feel strongly about them. I didn't know them well. It was Carlisle who would hate fighting back, even to save his own life. That's why we would be able to kill him, because he wouldn't want us, his enemies, to die.
Yeah.
This was wrong.
I really like that part.
Oh my God! I love Jacob's respect for Carlisle.
It kind of shows that Jacob doesn't really have any animosity towards the Cullens.
Yeah.
But it's kind of all fueled by his jealousy towards Edward, and that only if he just got to know them all a little bit more, he would really respect them. Like Carlisle. Yeah, Carlisle, the reason he likes him is because Carlisle took care of him, so he spent that time with him.
Yeah.
And I think he'd feel the same about all of them, except maybe not Blondie, but...
Blondie. But maybe.
Maybe. They would be hot together, honestly. Sam is saying that this thing, the fetus, is too dangerous, and they have to kill it tonight. And that's too much for Jacob to handle. It's because they'd have to kill Bella to kill the thing. And I thought it's funny. Leah says that thing. She's dying anyway. And then
She's dying anyway.
Jacob says, that did it. I leaped away from Seth toward his sister with my teeth bared. I was about to catch her left hind leg when I felt Sam's teeth cut into my flank, dragging me back. So here we have Sam protecting Leah, which I don't know if that really means anything or if he's just trying to put everything in order for the pack. But I do wonder, like, you know, Sam and Leah were really in love and he imprinted on Emily, but like, does the real part of him, like the human part of him before he was a member of the pack, still love Leah in the same way?
I wonder.
You know?
Maybe.
Yeah. I mean, he still probably cares about her a lot.
Yeah.
Like in the same way, like Jacob still cares about Bella after he imprints, but.
I love Leah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. She's one of my favorite characters. For sure. I think it's pretty brash of Sam to say that he's going to attack
I know.
the Cullens tonight.
It's almost silly. I mean, I guess it could be one of those mortal child things that's dangerous.
But they don't.
The whole town.
But they don't know that yet.
It's a baby.
Yeah.
Chill.
Also, what would they tell Charlie? Like, I wonder if they would kill all of the Cullens, kill Bella, and then blame it on the Cullens. Like, would they
Maybe.
take responsibility for that? Probably
I don't
not.
know. Would they just make up a lie? Like, oh, they left town?
Yeah.
I wonder. Could you do that?
I don't know. I hope their DNA would be on the scene.
DNA.
I mean, they're probably going to get slobber everywhere.
Ew. So this ends with him what?
He says, I wasn't born to follow you, or whatever it is he says. Oh, wait, actually, no, it doesn't end like that. It says, it ends with no member of the pack could refuse the alpha.
So, what? As of now, he's still obeying Sam.
Yeah, this is how the chapter ends, but then the beginning of the next chapter, he leaves the pack.
Spoiler, Mel. Spoiler.
In the next chapter...
Okay. Yeah. Chapter 11 is the 2 things at the very top of my things I never want to do list. Very casual.
Yeah, so basically here's when he leaves the pack.
Sam's moving them into formation.
He says that he heard it right away, heard the voice that I made in the sound of the alpha voice in my thoughts, which is, I was wondering what the alpha voice is. Is it just like the, I wasn't made to follow you?
Maybe. I don't know. Yeah, and his brothers are kind of like urging him not to resist. Like, Embry says, Jake, keep your head in the game. There's no point fighting it.
Yeah.
But he really thinks it's wrong to attack them.
Yeah, he says,
The Cullens, I mean.
yeah, he says, you would choose your enemies over your family. And Jacob says, they aren't. I shook my head, clearing it. They aren't our enemies. They never have been. Until I really thought about destroying them, thought it through, I didn't see that. Which, again, growth on Jacob's part. I gotta applaud him, yes.
Yeah, I wrote that too in my notes. Character growth, ...
And I don't know if it's like Bella dying for him to see that, but I like how he says, till I really thought it through. So you can tell before he had this prejudice that was based off just like pure, like he just wanted
jealousy.
Pure jealousy. He just wanted to not like them and didn't want to challenge that thought.
Filthy bloodsucker.
Yeah.
As we heard throughout Eclipse and had to endure. But yeah, then he finally stands up to Sam and says, Ephraim Black Sun was not born to follow Levi Yuli's.
Wait, what is it? Ephraim? How do you say that?
I don't know. Ephraim?
Ephraim's black son. But he's not the son. Isn't Billy the son? He's the grandson, right?
Yeah.
The typo?
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe he just meant that his dad wasn't meant to follow Sam's dad?
Yeah, I don't know.
Ephraim, okay.
Ephraim's...
I stared into his spirit's eye. Ephraim Black Sun was not born to follow Levi Yuli's. So?
Well, I was wondering what makes Jacob's grandfather the alpha.
I don't know. Must go back a long time. Maybe he's related to Taha Aki or whatever. I don't know. I don't think they've explained it, did they? Maybe
No.
they did. But he must be somehow the first or something. I don't love that. Like, I mean, I guess that's just the way it is in their tribe. But, you know, just because it's blood, I don't know if that makes Jacob, per se, a better leader.
Yeah.
But whatever.
No, yeah, I don't like how it's just automatic. I also don't understand how, if there is an alpha, how you can just be like, sorry, I'm out. I don't want to be alpha. Like, I don't really get how it's optional.
I don't know.
Or a lot of things, even though they're a pack, they're not very united.
Yeah.
Like, they still have a lot of, which I guess is good. It's not too culty, but, like, they still disagree with each other and yet follow anyway. Yeah, it is a little culty. Or, like, how they should talk Leah. But, like, you know, she's a member of your pack. You know, you would think that there would be more loyalty there.
I know. So Jacob separates here, basically just, like, runs away. But when Leah and Sam join Jacob's pack, they kind of act like that's all they can do, and, like, they are almost meant to be subordinate or something, you know what I mean? Like,
it's weird.
They have to have some leader.
Yeah.
And
that's
it.
And that Jacob would be better than Sam. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is weird. It's like, what makes them subordinate?
Not weird in a horrible way. Not weird in a bad way.
Yeah,
just
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, gotta clarify.
Yeah. Don't at us.
I like weird stuff, okay?
Mm-hmm,
Like, one of my favorite bands is MGMT. Watch their music videos, they're weird, but I like it. I like weird stuff. Oh, I like this. So, well, this might be jumping ahead, but, like, Seth joins him.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I don't know where this is, but Seth suggests thinking we come in peace to Edward.
Yeah, I like that part. He says, maybe we should be thinking, it's on page 215, maybe we should be thinking something like, we come in peace.
Like they're aliens.
Yeah, and then Jacob says, go for it in his head, and then Seth thinks, Edward? Call the name tentatively. Edward, you there? Okay, now I feel kind of stupid, he says.
We come in peace. Edward?
We come in peace, yeah.
Oh, it's cute.
Yeah.
Love it. They get to the house, and Bella's hooked up to an IV now in a hospital bed.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't look good.
No. Okay, I'm skipping ahead, I think. But on page
That's okay, if nothing more.
220, it seems like Jacob thinks about Edward asking him to knock out Bella.
Yeah.
And then Seth starts howling in response. And then that scares the Cullens because they think that the Sam's pack is coming. Mm-hmm. Is that what happened? I was very confused by this whole section.
Let's take a look.
But so because of that, Emmett says that all the Cullens get scared and Jacob's like, no, stop, you're going to trick them. And Emmett says, nice to have toddlers guarding the fort, which I thought was really mean of Emmett.
That is mean. Wait.
Especially since Seth respects them so much.
Let me read this for a second.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I think he's howling because Jacob agreed to kill Edward if Bella dies.
Oh, okay.
And Seth loves Edward.
Yeah.
Which is so cute.
Yeah, he's
adorable.
Man crush on Edward.
I think that's why he's howling.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Because he's like, no!
Yeah. And then Jacob goes, shut up, you idiot. Or shut up, you idiot. Yeah, they're going to think the pack is coming. Oops. Cut off mid-howl.
A cutie.
Yeah, cute.
Oh, cutie pie.
And then Edward says it was a false alarm. And then that's when Emmett is like, nice to have toddlers guarding the fort. Which I thought was, just not nice.
Carlisle, of course. They've done a great service tonight, Emmett. A great personal sacrifice.
Yeah, I know. I'm just jealous. Wish I was out there. Emmett says.
Emmett chill.
Yeah.
Emmett just wants to, like, punch things.
Yeah. Emmett dumb.
My nose.
Emmett dumb.
Beefy.
Cal Lutz is apparently a very nice person.
Yeah.
That's all I have for chapter 11.
Yeah, it just kind of ends with, Bella's not doing well at all.
Yeah.
Now Jake and Seth are protecting them outside. And here we go to chapter 12.
It's called Some People Just Don't Grasp the Concept of Unwelcome.
Leah joins the pack.
Yes.
I think that's what he means.
Yeah.
By unwelcome.
And I love this part. Spoiler, I ship Jacob and Leah so much. I feel like it's building so much here. I don't know, like, does anyone not feel it? Like, I feel as though it's building and building, and you were supposed to ship this.
It does. Mm-hmm. I was wondering why Seth is so against Leah joining the pack. He's like, oh man, go away, Leah. Mm-hmm. Is it just because it's like, oh, my sister?
Yeah.
Is that the only reason?
Well, I feel like he thinks it's because the only reason Leah's joining is to look out after him, and he feels a little bit embarrassed, like he's a little boy.
I see.
I feel like the pack in general should have some more sympathy for her. I feel like if you were truly in somebody else's mind, you would know them more on an empathetic level. It's weird how they just judge Leah for her thoughts.
I know. I guess they keep telling us, like, oh, because she just makes our life a living hell or whatever.
Yeah, but doesn't Jacob? Jacob feels kind of very similar about things.
There's definitely a little sexism going on.
Yeah, completely.
But okay, at the bottom of 225, I was like, why aren't Jacob and Leah a thing? Like, she's being flirty. She's like you could catch me. Want to race, oh fearless leader. Like, it's so flirty.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just the start. That's just the start, people. You haven't seen anything yet.
Yeah, and he says, like, Leah says, my choices are limited. I'm working with the options I've got. Trust me, I'm not enjoying this any more than you are. And then he says that wasn't true. There was an edgy kind of excitement in her mind. She was unhappy about this, but she was also riding some weird high. I searched her mind trying to understand. So it's, like, funny that, like, she'd be like, I don't like this. I don't like being your subordinate.
Yeah.
But he knows that that's not really true and that she's hiding something.
Yeah. I really actually enjoyed this chapter and the whole dynamic of Jake and Leah and Seth and all of their thoughts going back and forth. It was cool. Yeah, this is kind of skipping ahead. You know, they're running around, blah, blah, blah. Jacob's back at the house. And Jacob has a thought about how, the baby probably just wants to drink blood or whatever. And Edward's like, Jacob just had an interesting idea. And they think, finally, like, oh, maybe Bella should drink blood, which is sick and gross, but I don't get why they didn't think of that before.
Yeah, it seems pretty...
Reminds me of the whole Victoria thing.
Yeah.
How did
especially
you guys
since
not think of
I
that?
feel like they should be really quick-witted.
Yeah.
You know?
They're supposed to think way ahead of humans, as if time slowed down. So, I don't get that. But also, okay, this is crazy to me. Sorry if this is really skipping ahead, but, you know, they're realizing, like, oh, the baby might be thirsty. And they're kind of talking about it, and then they approach the subject to Bella. Okay, so Bella says, so who's going to catch me, a grizzly bear? Carlisle and Edward exchanged a quick glance. Rosalie stopped tapping. What? Bella asked. It'll be a more effective test if we don't cut corners, Bella, Carlisle said. If the fetus is craving blood, Edward explained, it's not craving animal blood. It won't make a difference to you, Bella. Don't think about it, Rosalie encouraged. Bella's eyes widened. Who? She breathed, her gaze flickering to me. It's like, Bella's actually considering...
Killing Jacob.
Maybe Jacob, but at least killing somebody.
Yeah.
While she's still human.
Yeah.
She's like, yeah, I'll drink somebody's blood.
Yeah, she's very...
Like, she doesn't... I don't think she knows at this point that they have, like, bags of blood.
Yeah, like, donated blood.
Then a few paragraphs down, Rosalie says, we have blood on hand. For
they
you,
have
just
O
in
negative,
case.
which I think is the most rare type of blood. What type of blood is Bella that she needs O negative?
I don't know.
Yeah. Or is O negative, is that the universal donor so they can donate to anybody?
I think so, yeah.
Oh, okay, so that kind of makes sense. But it's the most rare kind, yeah.
It's funny, like, this reminds me of Bella before, just, you know, not having much regard for humanity.
Yeah.
She's, like, already okay with the idea, like,
killing people.
God, okay.
Yeah.
Like, I guess I'm gonna kill somebody. Here I
go.
Like, chill, Bella. No.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who? Like, the fact that she said who.
Yeah. Yeah.
And looked at Jacob.
Yeah.
Like, what? Maybe not kill, but What was she gonna do? Like bite Jacob's arm?
Or maybe she looked at Jacob because she was embarrassed that this is a conversation they were having in front of him.
Well, he says right after that, "I'm not here as a donor, Bell's size. It's human blood that thing's after. I don't think mine applies." So I don't know. At least he read it that way.
Yeah.
I read it that way.
I
too.
wonder if Bella could have ever donated her blood to Edward beforehand.
Bonne question, Mel. I wonder.
Because Carlisle has all the resources. Carlisle could have just like hooked her up to like a needle and then
he
like
could just have like a field day with it.
Yeah. Just been like, here's your birthday gift.
He's like, yes.
Yeah.
Very cool.
She puts it in a nice little bottle. Go crazy.
Okay, so it ends with her agreeing to
Oh,
drink
wait.
blood.
I wanted to say one thing. Well, I kind of think they touch upon this later, but we have this whole thing about how Carlisle wants to test the chromosomes for the fetus, and how he says that he secretly tested Jacob's chromosomes when he was treating him. And I thought that, like, okay, here we are setting up why Jacob imprints on Renesmee very subtly by saying, like, they have the same chromosomes.
Yeah.
And so, like, that's why he imprints, or, like, explains it, because, like, you imprint on the person that you mate with. And so, like, it's almost like a flaw in the system that, like, they both have the same chromosomes. So, like, I don't know. Something like that. Like, they'd make a strong...
Does that mean that they can have kids?
It must, because that's why you imprint, is to have the best chance of...
And if they have the same chromosomes, they can probably have kids.
Yeah, probably.
I don't really get it, because I'm guessing Edward has more than Bella, but...
Yeah, it's true, yeah. They have the science there. And...
I have questions about science later on, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so then the next chapter is chapter 13.
Good thing I've got a strong stomach, it's called.
Yeah, so this is when Bella drinks the blood.
I love the part when, so they're all, sitting around on the couch, whatever, living room, and Rosalie's preparing it in the other room, and, Edward has great hearing because he's a vampire, and he says, "Not clear, Rosalie." Edward rolled his eyes, and then Jacob's kind of like, "What?" But later you realize he said that because she was going to put the blood in a clear glass, and then she transferred it into, like, a not see-through cup.
Yeah.
I always liked that part.
I like that, yeah. I like how you see more of Edward's mind reading.
Yeah.
Here. It's interesting. I like when Jacob is thinking something and you're not thinking he's not saying it to Edward, but then you hear Edward respond to it.
Yeah, it's
because
interesting.
we don't get that in Bella's perspective, obviously.
Bella drinks blood.
But I wrote,
She likes it.
isn't it too sticky to drink? I mean,
I don't know.
I don't know what it tastes like, but like I'd imagine that it's like really almost like syrupy going down.
Have you ever tasted your own blood? What about like a paper cut?
Yeah, but that's like
It's a small amount.
you're not like gulping that down,
No.
So
I have no idea what the texture would be like.
yeah. Do you guys know? Let us know.
Do you remember in Twilight when they're doing the blood slides thing in biology or whatever, and she faints and she says like, "Oh, it smells like rust and whatever, rust and salt." And Edward's like, "What? How do you know what it smells like?" I feel like you could kind of just figure that out. It's not that incredible.
Yeah. It's interesting that she's so... Well, I guess she's craving it now.
Yeah. Anyway.
Imagine she just fainted.
Yeah.
Oh, I had one note before then. When Jacob, again, I feel like we've already mentioned this, but he's talking about Leah and, like, why no one kind of likes her. And he says, I knew what it was like for Leah, having to see that all the time, like seeing the person you love with someone else.
Yeah.
Having to hear it in Sam's mind. Of course, we all felt bad for her. We weren't monsters, in that sense anyway, but I guess we'd blamed her for how she handled it, lashing out at everyone, trying to make us all miserable as she was. And I just wrote, women are held to such a different standard when it comes to this, because Jacob is lashing out all the time. I mean, Jacob is dragging his pack into all of this drama with him and Bella, and yet how can he have the audacity to judge Leah for anything? Like, she has to literally read Sam's mind, like probably listen to like intimate details about Sam and Emily's relationship. And she doesn't have a choice in the matter. Jacob could literally remove himself from Bella and Edward's life, and it wouldn't,
Yeah,
like,
that's true.
he's not forced into it in any way. I just think it's so hypocritical. But I'm sure Stephanie's aware of that, but I think it just shows such a double standard here.
Yeah, does Jacob ever realize that?
I think only slightly. He's never, like, apologetic for the way he's thought about Leah.
I wrote, Jacob was about to sleep, then Seth and Leah howl and need him. I feel for him. Yeah, because in this chapter, Jacob is so tired, and it really
He hasn't slept in days.
upsets me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my god, he needs to sleep.
I don't know what Leah and Seth are having him do, but there's this part on page 259 where Leah talks about, Jacob says he's going to go phase, you know.
Yeah.
And Leah says, give it a break, Jacob. You can phase in front of me. Despite my best efforts, I've seen you naked before. Doesn't do much for me. So no worries. But, the tension.
Doesn't do much for me. What does
Leah.
that mean?
Yeah, Leah, I don't believe it.
Okay, yeah, I wrote actually that I like this paragraph. Nudity was an inconvenient but unavoidable part of pack life. We'd all thought nothing of it before Leah came along. Then it got awkward. Leah had average control when it came to her temper. It took her the usual length of time to stop exploding out of her clothes every time she got pissed. We'd all caught a glimpse. And it wasn't like she wasn't worth looking at. It was just that it was so not worth it when she caught you thinking about it later. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
Like, I never thought of that. Like, if they were thinking about her naked later, that she'd be like, what are you thinking about?
Yeah.
I never thought of that.
And it sounds like he's saying that because they've all thought about it later.
Yeah. And I can almost see why Jacob hasn't had any feelings for Leah yet, because it's like, you're not really, there's no space to.
Yeah.
So, and it's kind of why Edward never had feelings for anyone, because he can read their thoughts. So, like, yeah, I kind of get it.
Yeah. I mean, I guess there is somewhat space because when they're in their human form.
That's true. But it seems almost like whenever they turn into wolves, all their, like, thoughts from the day just kind of go out there, and then they get, like, a recap of their day.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. There's no mystery anymore.
Yeah.
There's this part where, like, Quill shows up, and, you know, they're, like, talking about...
With Colin.
Yeah, with Colin. Like, it's almost like, you okay? You good? Like, we miss you. Come back. Whatever. And Leah says, thought you were going to make out with him. Again, the tension there. What? But I thought it was sweet. Like, Jacob kind of gives orders to Quill, or, like, just tells him, he speaks for the pack, and then he says to Leah, did I say anything you didn't want me to? Did I say something I shouldn't? Did I not say something I should have? Like, he's very, like... He's alpha, but he doesn't want to disrespect Seth and Leah's choices. Yeah. Which I thought was sweet, despite all the bickering.
And so I think Jared's kind of in charge of this meeting, right? And he's trying to get them to join back. And Jacob says, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that Leah belongs wherever she wants to be. And I really liked that he stood up for Leah there. Yeah. And is like, she can do whatever she wants. Like, she can be with me, or she can be with, like, she can do whatever she wants. Yeah. I liked it. Made me ship it even more.
Oh my god, I ship it so much. I honestly ship it more than Bella and Edward. No.
What?
I'm just joking.
Oh my
but
god.
I do, because it's the couple that never was. Like, it's so tragic.
It is tragic. And I think it's interesting that Sam, so this meeting that happens with Jared, Paul, Quill, Colin, those are the guys that show up to say, like, hey, come back. Like, yeah, we miss you. I think it's interesting that Sam didn't let Embry meet with them out of fear that he'd join Jacob's pack. Like, because Jacob noticed that Embry wasn't at the meeting. And I think Seth's the one that's like, well, I bet he wasn't there because he thought that he would just switch over to our pack.
Yeah, because I was thinking beforehand, it's kind of shitty that Quill and Embry didn't follow Jacob. I mean, they were best friends with him before all this Wolfpack stuff, but it made sense that the reason that Quill didn't leave is because he's imprinted on Claire, which... Is Claire related to someone?
I don't know, but she's on the push, and they're not allowed in the push anymore.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, so that makes sense. Yeah. But then Embry hasn't imprinted on anybody, so it's...
He could switch.
I feel like maybe Paul should switch.
Yeah.
Because-
He probably should.
He's dating Jacob's sister.
Paul's an asshole. So.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
On the bottom of page 266, I thought Jacob and Leah had great banter. Get together, kiss.
I know.
Come on.
So then the next chapter is chapter 14. It's, you know, things are bad when you feel guilty for being rude to vampires. Here, Esme gives, or he's left with a pair of hand-me-down clothes from Emmett. And I think that explains in the movie why Jacob's wardrobe is suddenly so much better.
That's actually true. Yeah, but they don't explain it in the movie. But yeah, his clothing does change in the movies.
I had to admit it. I felt better with some clothes to my name, even stinky ones that didn't quite fit. It was hard not to be able to just jet back home and grab another pair of old sweatpants when I needed them. The homeless thing again, not having any place to go back to. No possessions either, which wasn't bothering me too bad, but would probably get annoying soon. And wait, yeah, it's just, they were like designer clothes or whatever from Emmett.
Yeah, in our fashion episode, I remember us talking so much about how Jacob's clothing really improved.
Suddenly improves, and we're like, oh, his character's improving. Or we thought like, oh, his temper is getting more resolved, so he can afford nicer clothes because he's not breaking out of them so much.
Yeah.
But actually, it's just Emma's hand-me-down clothes.
Who knows what the movie,
What their
perspective
intention was, yeah. But I think that's interesting.
It is interesting. Oh, I wrote in my notes, he walks in the house.
Bella's so happy to see him.
Yeah, Bella's so happy to see him. And he says, what was with her? For crying out loud, she was married. Happily married, too. There's no question that she was in love with her vampire past the boundaries of sanity.
Yeah.
And hugely pregnant to top it off. So why did she have to be so damn thrilled to see me? Honey, we're all wondering.
Yeah.
So Mel and I are talking about this.
Yeah.
And we haven't really gotten into it yet, but Jacob has a lot of chemistry with Leah, with Carlisle, with Alice. We haven't really said it, but like her, she kind of has headaches and she can't really see anything because of the baby and stuff. And Jacob, for some reason, helps her head when she's near him. And so she kind of likes him right now. And even him and Rosalie have this like banter, this hate thing going on that could turn into love.
Yeah.
So anyway, he has chemistry with like everybody except for Bella.
Yeah. Bella is so boring. It's just like, Jacob.
Hi. As she's sitting on the couch.
Yeah, and it just doesn't click. I don't know.
And he's like, why are you so happy to see me?
Yeah.
I love you. But
Yeah.
why?
I love you. I don't even have any reason for it. I just do.
Exactly.
It's like, I feel like he loves Bella because it's his first love. Like, I feel like he
Yeah.
loves her because it's the first person he's really felt this for, but it's not necessarily because they have anything between them.
Yeah. Why does he even love Bella?
Yeah.
Why?
Like, yeah, what is she offering him? I don't know.
He should date someone who loves to hike. That's what I think.
Yeah.
Or is into cars. Or I don't know.
Yeah, like Rosalie.
Yeah. Oh my God. Rosalie repairs cars.
Yeah.
So does Jacob.
Yeah.
They should have been together.
Yeah.
Or Jacob and Leah.
Yeah, because Jacob and Leah, they have the wolf thing in common.
Jacob could have been a player. He should have like hooked up with Leah.
Yeah, at least.
Okay, new love triangle. Jacob, Leah, and Rosalie. Who was he gonna end up with?
Yeah. Yeah, who do you...
That's the new like plot line.
Wait, guys, tell us. Send us a message. Who do you prefer? Jacob and Rosalie or Jacob and Leah?
That could be the whole, that could be a new stress or thing in the story. Like, oh my God, what's gonna happen?
Yeah.
No more Jacob, Edward, Bella.
No. We know how that's gonna end, but this, I don't know. Honestly,
Who do you want him to
I think
end
I'd
up
go back and forth, but I think ultimately him and Leah. I think Leah deserves a love. They both relate to the unrequited love thing.
I love him and Leah, but wouldn't it be cool for a werewolf and vampire to be together? Especially ones that used to hate each other.
What about Emmett? You would do that to Emmett?
Maybe Emmett will die in the battle against the Volturi.
Maybe.
And
And then you have that perfect, like, you know, amount of bittersweetness that you need to be really attached to it. Yeah. I could see it.
There would need to be some time.
But to
I don't
be
want them
honest,
to get together like 1 second
but to be
later.
honest, I don't like Rosalie. Like,
I
I really,
know.
there's nothing redeeming about her. So I don't even want her to have this, like, nice love story.
What if he brought out the humanity in her
Maybe, yeah. But Leah, I want more for her.
I do love Leah. I love them. I ship both of these couples.
Yeah.
Edward offers Jacob food,
Oh,
clothes,
this is really
place to
sweet.
stay.
He, like, takes him aside and says, "Rather, Esme was troubled by the hardships this is putting your pack through. She asked me to speak to you privately about it. That took me off guard. Hardships? The homeless part particularly. She's very upset that you are also bereaved. I snorted. Vampire mother hen, bizarre. We're tough, tell her not to worry. She'd like to do what she can. I got the impression that Leah prefers to not eat in wolf form. And I demanded, well, we do have normal human food here, Jacob. Keeping up appearances, and of course for Bella. Leah is welcome to anything she'd like, and all of you are." I just think it's really sweet that he
is really sweet.
He says, "Please don't consider yourselves without the benefits of a home."
And then, I didn't write what page this is, but Alice suggests that the baby and Jacob have something in common because she can't see either of them.
Yeah, that's on page 277.
Yeah, and it's like a little too on the nose for me, but whatever.
Wait, so is the reason she can't see Renesmee, forgive me if this is wrong, is because Jacob imprints on her later?
No, I think she says it later on, spoiler, but she does say, like, I can see vampires best because I am one. I can see humans okay because I was one, but I can't see these half-breeds because I've never been one.
Oh, okay.
So, I don't know if she can't see wolves or
But so
half-vampires.
it seems like she can kind of see Renesmee. Like, it makes her vision very blurry or whatever. Or maybe it's thinking about Bella makes her vision blurry.
I think she can see Bella still, but she can't see Renesmee, so that messes it up.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
so Jacob, she likes being around Jacob because she
can't see anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And calms her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, where's Jasper through all of this? Can't Jasper be doing the microphone?
Where the hell is Jasper?
Yeah, I don't know. There's like no mention of Jasper throughout all of this.
What the heck?
So Seth is raving about Edward's cooking.
I wrote that down
which is
too.
sweet.
Man, you can cook. Thank you, Edward murmured. So cute.
Yeah, it's sweet that like through all of this, Edward is still like whipping up meals.
I know. And I love that he murmurs thank you. I don't know why. And then, okay, I thought this was crazy that Seth's arm is like around Bella to warm her up.
Mm-hmm.
And Jacob's jealous. Like, literally.
Yeah.
Like, okay, dude.
Yeah.
She's married to
She's
Edward.
married and pregnant.
You're obviously her second choice. She's not like flirting with
Seth, yeah.
Seth, who's like 15 or whatever.
Well, maybe it's not jealous in a romantic way, but just jealous that he's not the one to warm her up because that's his thing.
I guess so. Oh, he says, she's got blankets. I snapped at him. I'm fine, Seth. Thanks, Bella said quickly. It's just weird.
Yeah. I like this part where Carlisle says, "A moment, Jacob." And then Jacob says, "It was Carla asking, so when I turned around again, my face was probably less disrespectful than it would have been if it was anyone else who had stopped me." Again, he loves Carlisle.
Who doesn't?
Oh, yeah, and there's this part where Esme is offering, like, food or something, and he says, "I don't know how she did it because she didn't look older than her mid-20s, and she was bone pale, too, but something about her expression suddenly reminded me of my mom." And then he says, "Jeez." So that was really sweet.
It is sweet.
And then he says later on that same page, 284, "This is the problem with hanging out with vampires. You got used to them. They started messing up the way you see the world. They started feeling like friends." So again, more growth.
And Esme left a basket of clothes for Leah, and he says he'll bring them to her, but ducks out the door before anyone could guilt me into anything else.
Yeah, and then later they're floating down the river, so Leah doesn't take them. So the next chapter is chapter 15, tick-tock, tick-tock, tick-tock.
Jake and Leah are getting along, and it really feels like a setup to me.
I feel the same way. On 287, he says, "Funny though, I'd have thought her biggest issue would just be me. We'd always gotten on each other's nerves when we were in Sam's pack. But there was no antagonism toward me now at all, just the Cullens and Bella. I wondered why. Maybe it was simply gratitude that I wasn't forcing her to leave. Maybe it was because I understood her hostility better now. Whichever, running with Leah wasn't nearly as bad as I'd expected." And I wrote, I ship it so much.
Yeah, I mean, they used to hate each other, and now they're like, oh, not so bad.
Yeah.
So it's hard not to think thoughts like that. In 288, Jake's considering that he should have told the Cullens to leave town. He's thinking, like, why didn't they leave? Mm-hmm. Seth butts in and is like, because Jacob's just having these thoughts kind of privately, and he's like, no, they're not leaving. And Jacob says, why not? That's just stupid. Not really, Seth said, defensive now. It takes some time to build up that kind of medical access that Carlisle has here. He's got all the stuff he needs to take care of Bella and the credentials to get more. That's one of the reasons they want to make a hunting run. Carlisle thinks he's going to need more blood for Bella soon. Blah, 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 blah. Basically, Seth's being really defensive and is like, that's why they're staying. So, it's kind of cute. He loves Cullens.
Yeah. There's a lot of blonde jokes that he's making towards Rosalie. I think these are kind of funny because they don't really fit in the story. But I also think it's like, it shows a little bit of Jacob's immaturity because they're all like dumb blonde jokes.
Yeah.
And obviously Rosalie is way smarter than him. Like, she's been alive for so long. Like, she's obviously not dumb. So I think it's like, come on, Jacob, be a little bit more creative.
Yeah, she's like, I've heard that before.
Yeah.
And we have the part where she, bends the dish into a dog bowl.
That's funny.
To give to Jacob, which is funny. And then he throws it at her head.
Yeah.
Which I know she's a vampire, like, but what the heck?
Yeah. People laugh, though. They think
crazy.
it's funny. And it wakes Bella up. Bella says something like, Jacob's like, why do you want me here? And Bella says, it feels complete when you're here, Jacob. Like, all my family is together. Which, like, no. Your parents aren't here, Bella.
She doesn't remember.
No.
Oh, bells.
On the next page, it's explained that Bella's been talking to Charlie on the phone and Jacob doesn't get it. And Edward explains, like, she can't bear his anxiety. And then Jacob says, Bella wouldn't just shuffle Charlie's pain off to some later date for someone else to face. Even dying, that wasn't her. If I knew Bella, she had to have some other plan. And then later it's just being like, Bella's only thinking about other people's pain in the short term. But actually, I feel like that is Bella's character. Like, Bella does that for Jacob as well. She's not like, Jacob, like, I'm not good for you. And, like, she doesn't let him go. Like, she's always just trying to appease people in the short term or herself.
Yeah.
But she's really never thinking about long term that much.
No, not besides being with Edward forever. She's not really thinking about anybody else.
Yeah. Like, I feel like she does think, like, oh, I have to make Jacob happy by being with him or checking to see if he's okay and stuff like that. And it's actually, like, that's not what's going to make Jacob happy overall. You're just toying with him more. Same with Charlie here.
Yeah. Bella's talking about her baby and how fast it's growing. And she says, he reminds me of you, Jake, she said. Affectionate tone, still gasping. Do not compare me to that thing. I spit out through my teeth. I just meant your growth spurt, she said, looking like I'd hurt her feelings. Good. You shot right up. I could watch you getting taller by the minute. He's like that too, growing so fast. I'm just wondering, like, why? I just don't get why her pregnancy has to be accelerated.
Yeah.
I know you said, I think in our last episode, like, oh, because just for convenience to get the plot going, but it bugs me.
Well, I actually did have an idea reading this that I thought Renesmee has to grow faster because, like, when she's born, how she bites Bella at first?
Yeah. Maybe
she, for her own survival or other people's survival, has to age fast so that way she learns quickly that she can't do stuff like that.
Yeah, maybe. I always thought it was because, like, Edward's stuck at 17, that, like, his DNA or whatever is just, like, being 17 or something, and that she just needs to get to that point, or I don't know, but Yeah.
What if, like, Bella was just growing a 17-year-old in her?
Basically.
Just comes out of her, like, walking with acne.
Ew.
Applying for colleges.
But Breaking Dawn is just whack.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Oh, wait. Okay, where is this part? It's about how the baby would need to, like, bite its way out or something.
Oh,
And I'm like, okay, well, not to be TMI or whatever, guys, but, like, why wouldn't the baby just come out through the vagina?
Yeah,
Like,
I don't know how they know
pushing
that.
and
Yeah.
stuff. Like, why would the baby have to, like,
Probably
bite its way out?
Probably, like,
I don't get it.
Vagina. Yeah, but why is her, like, cervix so strong that she can't get out that way? I don't know.
Oh yeah, because Jacob says, fact 1, Bella said that the creature was protected by something as strong as vampire skin, something that was too impenetrable for ultrasounds, too tough for needles. Fact 2, Rosalie said they planned to deliver the creature safely. Fact 3, Edward said that in myths, other monsters like this one would chew their way out of their own mothers. I shuddered. It made me it made me a sick kind of sense because fact 4, not many things could cut through something as strong as vampire skin. The half creature's teeth, according to myth, were strong enough. My teeth were strong enough, and vampire teeth were strong enough. It was hard to miss the obvious, but I was sure I wished I could because I had a pretty good idea exactly how Rosalie planned to get that thing safely
basically,
out.
Rosalie was gonna bite it out.
I guess.
Yeah.
Why did they have to bite it out? By her stomach? I don't get it. Why?
Well, in the movie, it looks like they
do
like just
cut her stomach.
Cut her stomach.
It's like
but
a
then I
C-section.
guess he after
That was like
that.
an emergency C-section kind of.
Yeah.
But why?
After he does bite it out, actually.
But why would they need to do that? That's not how pregnancy works. I don't get it.
Yeah, it's like they know it's gonna be a C-section, right?
I know.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem natural.
Yeah, I mean,
to
like,
me. Isn't a baby like? Isn't that how it works? Like, eventually, she would have to like push.
well, like the pregnancy is normal enough for her to be like impregnated from something going up into her cervix and like
I'm blushing.
fertilizing her egg. You know what I mean? Like it should be normal
I
enough for
know.
her. For
That's
it to
how it
then-
works.
Yeah.
Like every animal. Like C-section. I mean, I was a C-section baby. But
Oh, you
it's
were? Yeah, me
not-
too.
Not really how it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
And some people even think like, oh, you shouldn't or whatever.
Oh, really? So
like,
what are you
there's
supposed
like
to...
chemicals released when you
Oh, really?
give birth, quote, naturally or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just don't really get that, but whatever. I don't get the biology of it.
Yeah, I don't get it either. The next chapter is chapter 16, Too Much Information Alert.
Oh, this part was so weird to me. This might be another one of those things where we get responses for people explaining. But, okay, let me find it. Page 310. I found a heavy, somewhat recent concentration. Okay, this is Jacob running around and smelling the vampire scent, which apparently smells like bleach, kind of, I think. I found a heavy, somewhat recent concentration on one particular trail, all of them coming and going here except for Edward. For some reason for gathering that must have been forgotten when Edward brought his dying pregnant wife home, I gritted my teeth. Whatever it was, it had nothing to do with me. What? And I was wondering, like, is that them putting together their cottage for Edward and Bella? Or, like, what is... Maybe? I don't know. It seems like, for some reason, not Edward, all the rest of them were, like, running around here.
Yeah, I don't know.
No, it's not explained, obviously. It always happens in these books. If anybody knows, let us know.
Yeah.
My only guess is, I don't know when they did this, but I know they make that like house for Edward and Bella. That's my only guess, is them working on that
Yeah.
and running back and forth or something, but I don't know.
I wrote chemistry here. I think it's between Jacob and Leah.
Oh yeah.
Leah says, you've changed so much, Jacob. Talk about 180s. He says, you're not exactly the same Leah I've always known and loved either. Like, oh my gosh, they're going to love each other. I want you
know.
to. And then Leah says, thank you. And Jacob says, for letting me stay, for letting me be, for letting me stay. You've been nicer than I had any right to expect, Jacob. Or no problem. Actually, I mean that. I don't mind having you here like I thought I would. She snorted, but it was a playful sound. What a glowing combination. Don't let it get your head. Okay, if you don't let this get to yours. She paused for a second. I think you make a good alpha. Not in the same way Sam does, but in your own way. You're worth following, Jacob. And I wrote, I ship it.
I know.
Oh my God, they're having a heart-to-heart.
I know. And then a little further down on 312, she says, I want to stay with you.
Mm-hmm. Oh my God.
I won't be a pain, I swear. I won't follow you around. You can go wherever you want. I'll go wherever I want. You'll only have to put up with me when we're both wolves. Like, she wants to stay with him.
And then later he thinks, a pack of the two of us, no matter the physical distance, I couldn't imagine the intimacy of the situation. I wondered if she'd really thought it through or if she was just desperate to stay free. And then later they're killing something together.
Oh,
and
yeah.
like their minds are very in sync. It's just very natural. Like, and he says, it felt very strange. Our minds were more closely linked than they had ever been before because we were both trying to think together. Strange, but it helped her. Her teeth cut through the fur and skin of her kill's shoulder, tearing away a thick slab of streaming flesh. And yeah, they just killed this thing together, which I thought, I felt like sometimes in literature, sometimes people do something together and it's supposed to like be a, like a metaphor almost, or like, what do you call that? It's like supposed to be like...
For sex?
Yeah, it's like basically like they just had sex, like emotionally, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I could see that. They just killed something.
Yeah, instead of like bringing life into the world together, like procreating, they did the opposite together.
I know. And on 313, I like this part when Leah's talking about her life, like what she would do. Maybe she's like, I'll get a job somewhere away from the push, maybe take some courses at a community college, get into yoga and meditation to work on my temper issues, and stay a part of this pack for the sake of my mental well-being. Jacob, you can see how this makes sense, right? I won't bother you. You won't bother me. Everyone is happy. I don't know. I like that. Like that she's thought of a way she's going to live her life and the yoga thing to deal with her temper and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's cool. And I wonder, like, we don't know what happens to Leah after this book, but.
That makes me sad. I wish we do.
I know. But it sounds like she has like a good head on her shoulders and she's going to figure it out. So.
My dream for this series, if it was ever extended, is Renesmee grows up and she says to Jacob, I just want you to be a brother, and he says, okay, I'll be whatever you want me to be, and then him and Leah fall in love together.
I just want you to be a protector.
Yeah.
Not even brother.
I just want you to be a friend. Just a friend.
Just a friend I see
just
once a year.
A casual friend. Okay, I'll be whatever you want. And then
just
him and Leah.
Yeah,
and then him and Leah can have a real passionate romance based on real, genuine human feelings.
Cool.
That would be really cool.
That would be
But people weirdly, sorry, I don't mean to say weird, but interestingly ship Jacob and Renesmee so much. We've seen fan art.
Yeah, I was just seeing that with Renesmee around his shoulders or something.
Yeah, I don't get it. I really don't get it. But maybe once we read book 3, we'll like remember it more or whatever.
I was wondering what was up with this whole Jacob and Leah thing. Was Stephanie Meyer trying to throw us off?
I don't think so.
Was she trying to shock us?
I think that this was purely platonic. Stephanie didn't.
No way.
Yeah, I don't think that Stephanie.
I need to ask her.
Yeah.
Stephanie, why?
Yeah.
Stephanie, what?
Oh,
I don't get it. It really seems like they're foreshadowing them being together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which, okay.
Yeah,
I'm
like
fine
here,
with like things not going as I expect them to.
But I really was rooting for this. And here on page 315, Jacob says, was Leah going to be part of that life? A week ago, I would have thought the idea was beyond horrifying. I wouldn't have been able to stand it. But I knew her better now, and relieved from the constant pain, she wasn't the same wolf, not the same girl. We ate together until we both were full. Like, it feels like such a communion between the two of them. And
Yeah, and then Leah's so sweet to him. She's like, I'm sorry about this, Jacob. I'm sorry you're in pain. I'm sorry it's getting worse and not better.
Yeah.
Thanks, Leah. Like, wow, they're really, really increasingly getting to know each other and care for each other. It's crazy.
Yeah, and they can really, they really relate to each other. The pain of loving someone you can't have.
Yeah. And then so we have, just skipping ahead a bit, Jacob goes to the Cullens' house again to see what's up. And Edward hears the baby's thoughts, which is an interesting part. He's like, did you say something? In a puzzled tone, strange, because no one had said anything, and because Edward's hearing was as good as mine, and he should have known that. Edward's like, what were you thinking?
It's sweet.
What? He swallowed it. The baby likes the sound of your voice.
I thought when it says the F, it was going to be like the fuck.
Fuck. He swallowed. That's what a realistic husband would say.
Yeah.
Bella's like, holy crow, you can hear him. Bella, who says holy crow?
Yeah.
Whatever.
Oh, there's this part before that where it says, Carla put his hand on my arm. The icy touch did not feel good, but I didn't jerk it away. I held still, half in surprise and half because I didn't want to hurt its feelings. Like,
He's just holding his arm?
Yeah.
Chemistry.
Jacob and Carla chemistry.
Can you feel
the love tonight?
Yes. Here we have Bella saying, so Edward's, exultant, happy. He heard the baby's voice and realizes it's like actually a good person that loves Bella, and Bella reveals that she thought of naming him EJ. Edward, well, all she says is your father's name was Edward too.
Yeah, so she doesn't explain the whole Edward Jacob thing yet.
Not yet. And then she says, if it's a girl, I kicked a few things around playing with Renee and Esme, and I was thinking, Renesmee? Renesmee. Too weird? No, I like it, Rosalie assured her. What did you think of Renesmee when you first read this book as a name?
I think that I liked it. I think I liked that it was unique, and I thought it was pretty, and I think that you couldn't just name the kid, Sarah or something. I think it has to be special.
No offense to Sarah.
Yeah.
I mean, my name's Kelly.
Yeah, my name's Melissa. So.
Renesmee. You do get used to it. Renesmee.
I think she really becomes her name.
Renesmee.
Yeah.
It kind of sounds like a name.
Yeah. I think it's pretty.
Renesmee.
Renesmee.
Shorter than Elizabeth.
Yeah. What if you
right.
swapped it opposite? Okay, Renee and Esme. Esne. I bet Stephanie thought about that at first. Esne. It sounds too much like Esme.
Renesmee.
Or what about, it's Renesmee Carly, right?
I think
what if it was just Carly?
Well, Edward's real mom. Rest in peace.
Oh, yeah. What's her name? Elizabeth. Yeah.
Sad.
Renesbeth. Yeah. Resi. Like
Resi.
Kind of like Lizzie.
Punk. Resi. Beautiful.
I think Renesmee sounds mythological, so I think it goes.
It does.
EJ, no, not a fan.
EJ, I know.
EJ.
Not creative.
Edward Jacob.
No.
It's so inappropriate.
It is. Your love triangle?
Yeah. It's
wrong.
Awkward.
Oh my god.
Actually, my friend in middle school, one of her middle school friends had a baby in 8th grade and named it Jacob.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. After.
I thought you were going to say Renesmee.
No, named it Jacob after Twilight.
I wonder if anyone's named their daughter Renesmee.
Probably. I'm sure there's people. Actually, I feel like someone messaged us and said they did.
Probably.
Yeah. Probably.
A lot of people
named their babies Bella.
Yeah.
And Jacob. Bella and Jacob became like some of the most popular names in the past decade because of Twilight.
Before Twilight, I used to think Edward was like a loser name.
Yeah, me too.
But then I changed my mind.
Yeah. I would name my baby Edward, of course.
Edward's beautiful
Or
name.
Robert.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to also think Robert was a loser name.
Yeah, me too.
But now I think it's like really handsome.
Yeah.
Robert and Edward. Yeah, I mean, it just sounds like princes or something.
I would actually legitimately name a son Edward, but I feel like people would judge me for that.
I could see through it.
Yeah.
Like, wait a sec, don't you have a Twilight one?
Yeah, everybody instantly
I know.
would be like, okay.
There's such good names in Twilight. I also love, like, Jasper, that's a great name. Emmett is a great name. There's so, even, like, Kellen is a great name.
Yeah.
There's so many good names.
Rosalie, I kind of like that name.
Alice, that's a great name.
Carlisle.
Carlisle.
Yeah. I don't think I'd have a baby Carlisle, though.
My son Carlisle.
Yeah.
Maybe middle name. Because middle names can be, like, mysterious.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, what's your middle name?
I feel like you would have a son
Carlisle.
with the middle name Carlisle.
They're like, oh, I don't want to say. No, what is it? What is it?
What is it?
Carlisle. Yeah, maybe I'll make my kid's middle name Carlisle.
Yeah, I feel like
It's like it's a town next to Chelmsford where
yeah, maybe.
relates to me.
What about, Stephanie with an E?
No. What do you think? Esme? Still a little too old-fashioned for me. I mean, I like old-fashioned names, don't get me wrong, but I don't know. I just can't see naming my kid Esme.
Yeah, Renee I wouldn't do.
Renee.
Definitely not.
Renee listeners, we love you.
Yeah, we love you.
But we got a plane to catch.
Phil? Would you name your kid Phil?
No. No.
Jessica?
No.
It's kind of interesting how all of the humans have such basic.
Yeah.
Mike, Jessica,
Eric.
Angela.
Yeah. Lauren.
Tyler.
I like Quill and Embry.
Yeah, those are interesting
Quilletera.
names. Quilletera. That's his last name, right?
Yeah, I like how in the movie he says that.
He says it as if it's like,
I know.
I don't know,
Some
like his
suave
zodiac
nickname.
sign
Yeah.
or something.
Quilletera.
Yeah. Like,
Who
oh.
else is there? Paul? No. Although I do love Paul McCartney.
Swan is interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. What if I would name a kid like something Swan?
Swan.
Cullen. I like the name Cullen.
my God,
as
yeah.
a first name.
Actually, when I was a nanny, I'm pretty sure I overheard other little kids' names were Colin.
Yeah. I see right through that.
See, yeah, I know where you got that from. That's a great name, though.
Yeah. You know what? My future
Cullen.
child, boy or girl, I think it works.
Yeah.
Cullen. I like it.
Charlie's cute, too.
Yeah, Charlie.
Wouldn't Charlie be cute as just that's their name? Like, not Charles, just like Charlie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's really
Kinda like
cute.
Joey.
Yeah, that's really cute.
Cheer up, Charlie. Okay, all right. So, Jacob's super upset because Edward is now super happy and in love with this baby and is in total bliss with Bella, and Jake's gonna freak out. So Edward tosses him some car keys and says, "Go, Jacob, get away from here."
Mm-hmm.
And so that's how the chapter ends.
The next chapter is chapter 17.
What do I look like? The Wizard of Oz? You need a brain, you need a heart. Go ahead, take mine, take everything I have.
Mm-hmm.
That's the chapter name.
I like that.
Mm-hmm.
So here he goes to the mall and he's just trying to imprint on anybody.
Well, he doesn't go to the mall.
Oh, he doesn't?
No.
Oh, he goes to a park?
Yeah, he drives by the mall.
Oh, but he says I
He
wouldn't
says-
want to, yeah.
Basically, he's driving around, he's like a madman, and he's thinking he needs to go somewhere and imprint on somebody. And he says, he considers going to the mall, and he says, did I want to imprint on some girl who hung out at a mall all day? 331, which I think is interesting. And he's thinking about a conversation he had with Leah where she talked about how, and this is in the movie too, I think, how like, yeah, all the people they imprinted have lost their free will kind of, but at least they're happy. And I liked this quote. He said, "It seemed like maybe getting your choices taken away from you wasn't the very worst thing in the world. Maybe feeling like this was the very worst thing in the world."
Mm-hmm.
Which it sounds bratty, but I've related to that before. We're having like choices. It doesn't always make you happy. Like it can be stressful and just wanting to have your choices taken away from you, or like the responsibility of your own life taken away from you.
Mm-hmm.
Like if only someone else could choose or tell me what to do, that would make this easier. And I think that's what Jacob's looking for here.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't know what to do. Like, the girl I love is going to die. Like, can someone just take this away from me?
Yeah.
I've always loved this chapter. I remember when I first read it, really liking it. It's just cool to see Jacob out in the world apart from everything.
Yeah,
and, like,
I agree.
out among normal people.
Yeah.
And he's trying to, like, he's looking at all these girls and trying to imprint on one of them.
Yeah.
Which you can't really control.
I like it. He's just staring at everyone, and he says, like, sometimes I thought they looked kind of interested, but maybe that was just my ego running wild. He's a little narcissistic. And at the bottom of page 332, he says, this one's cheekbones cut across my face in just the same way. That one, oh, so basically he's comparing everyone to Bella.
Yeah.
And he says, that was when I gave up, because it was beyond stupid to think that I had picked exactly the right place and time, and I was going to simply walk up into my soulmate just because I was so desperate to. And I feel like I really like that, and I
Me too.
related to it. It's like, you'll find someone when you're not looking.
Mm-hmm.
You're not just gonna like stare at people and then be like, oh, here it is.
Yeah.
And then some girl walks up to him. She's talking about the car, and she's like seemingly kind of into him, also kind of concerned for him.
Flirting. And her name's Lizzie.
Yeah.
Which is a form of Elizabeth, which is Edward's mom's name.
Interesting.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's like his
Renesmee, Elizabeth, I don't know.
like his grandmother-in-law.
Maybe that's me being an English teacher right now.
I don't think it's connected at all. I thought it was kind of sad. She says, like, you stole this car or whatever. Like, I don't really get this whole thing, but he says, it's borrowed, not stolen. I snapped. My voice sounded horrible, like I'd been crying or something. Embarrassing.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, because he parks. It's like one of the Cullens cars, and it's super rich and fancy, and he parks it across 2 parking spots or something.
Mm-hmm.
I think he parks in a handicap spot, actually. Does he say that? But he's, like, almost just willing to get in trouble for it. I think the girl recognizes, like, how do you have this car? It's way too nice or something.
Yeah.
And you're also treating it like crap, so, yeah. But it's kind of, I'm a little frustrated. I'm like, oh, my God, Jacob, this girl's into
Jacob,
you.
go
like,
for it.
Yeah, go for it. But obviously he's not ready or into it. So he leaves. When he gets back to the Cullens house, it's revealed that Leah basically bitched out Bella, being like, why are you doing this to Jacob? Like, leave him alone. Like, stop leading him on. Blah, 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 blah. And Edward says he'll throw Leah across the river if she upsets Bella again, which I thought was crazy. It's like, whoa.
Yeah, like... But I think what's kind of interesting is Jacob isn't even that mad that Leah did that.
No. It's actually really sweet on Leah's part to stick up for Jacob like that. Like, she obviously cares so much about Jacob that she walked in there and was like, leave
in
Jacob
her
alone.
human form, yeah.
Was she naked?
I don't know. I don't know. That would probably not, yeah. I was wondering if Leah is jealous of Bella.
Maybe.
I feel like it's meant to be like Leah's kind of brash or whatever, but I think that like Leah did it with good intentions. Like she really did it from a caring place.
I think she's just like fed up with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and marched in and was like, hey, you know what? Like, Jacob's suffering so much. Stop having him over here and stop acting like so happy, you know?
Yeah, stop being like, Jacob. And you know what? I'm done with Bella at this point. Like, I love Bella, don't get me wrong. But, like, Bella, shut up. Like,
I know.
You can't have everything.
Now it's complete that you're here.
Now it's complete my family. Like, you know what? You're not helping Jacob at all. Like, you really are not helping
You can't
him.
have, like, Edward's arm around your shoulder and Jacob's hands at your feet.
Yeah.
While they're both in love with you. Like, it just doesn't work
It's
that
very
way.
immature of her.
Maybe if Jacob was in a relationship and only felt totally platonic, it could be different. But it's just not that way.
No.
So, yeah. So this chapter ends. You know, things seem pretty happy going on at the Cullens. Bella's doing way better since she started drinking blood, and she's looking good. But then she gets up to like go to the bathroom, and she drops her cup.
And she goes to reach for it.
And then there was this ripping sound from the center of her body. She gasps. She goes totally limp, slumps towards the floor. Rosalie catches her. Edward's there too. And Bella screams. It was not just a scream, it was a blood-curdling shriek of agony. The horrifying sound cut off with a gurgle, and her eyes rolled back into her head. Her body twitched, arched in Rosalie's arms, and then Bella vomited a fountain of blood. I just gotta say, I do not get the anatomy, biology, whatever, of this. I don't get it. Can someone explain it to me? I don't get how her reaching over how did this happen? I just don't get it. Can this happen to humans? Like, I don't...
Oh, their back breaks. Like,
when you're pregnant, can that happen? Just from, like, reaching over? And then you're, like, vomiting blood? I mean, I guess maybe you'd just be vomiting food or whatever, but why is this happening? I don't get it. And then the placenta's detached. It's like, what's going on? How is this? I don't get how her reaching for a cup made this happen, but I'm probably just ignorant. I've never been pregnant.
Well, I feel like she reached sideways, maybe. Kind of. I think the point is, like, maybe she's just so weak that something about bending that way. Mm-hmm. It's kind of stupid of her to, I guess it's a reflex, but to try to even pick something up.
I don't get it, though. Like, can't pregnant people, like, still do yoga? I don't get it.
Well, not Bella.
Not Bella, I thought she was doing better. I just don't get it. Like, I don't get why reaching for a cup made it's like, and then,
yeah, well, she's still too weak to, like, really move.
I guess so.
Yeah.
I just don't get what's going on. Okay, but then that's not in the chapter, and then it's total chaos.
Oh my god, so chapter 18 is called There Are No Words for This, and honestly, there are really no words for this. This chapter was crazy.
It's insane.
I have to say, this chapter is weird. It's the weirdest thing we experienced.
It's horror movie.
But to be honest, and you know, guys, spoiler, I don't love breaking down. This is probably my least favorite of all the books. This chapter, I was so into. Like, I think it's actually written really well. It's scary. It's spooky. This is the scariest thing we experienced in the whole series, and I feel like if I was reading for this for the first time, I would be on the edge of my seat. Yeah. Like, I was like, oh my god, my mind was blown.
It is crazy.
Just even reading it, knowing everything that happens.
Like, the way it starts, Bella's body streamed with red, started to twitch, jerking around in Rosalie's arm like she was being electrocuted. Yeah. Oh.
And then, like, so then they're, like, doing the C-section, and then Rosalie, all of a sudden, lost her focus. I saw the expression on her face shift, saw her lips pull back from her teeth, and her black eyes glint with thirst. No, Rose, Edward moaned, but his hands were trapped trying to prop Bella upright so she could breathe. I launched myself at Rosalie, jumping across the table without bothering to phase. As I hit her stone body, knocking her toward the door, I felt the scalpel in her hand stab deep into my left arm. My right palm smashed against her face, locking her jaw and blocking her airways. Like, oh my god, she just stabbed Jacob.
And it's chaos because also Carlisle is not there. Yeah. Esme, the rest of them are all hunting right now because they thought they had a few days. Like, they didn't expect this to happen. So it's just crazy.
Yeah. And Jacob here is giving Bella mouth to mouth. And I think this part is so creepy and scary. He says her lips tasted like blood.
Oh my god. And on the bottom of 349, he says, in the bright light, Bella's skin seemed more purple and black than it was white. Deep red was seeping beneath the skin over the huge, shuddering bulge of her stomach. Oh my god. First of all, is that realistic? I don't know if someone's skin could really look like that, but still disturbing.
Oh god.
And he says he hears blood dripping to the floor.
Yeah. It's like the messiest thing ever.
And she's like screaming because I guess the placenta detached and she's like, get him out! Get him out!
Yeah.
It's just,
it's total chaos. It's crazy. Oh my gosh.
Her spine cracks.
When they drag Rosalie out, Jacob says, and I had to give it to Blondie. She didn't put up an ounce of fight. She wanted us to win. She let me trash her like that to save Bella, to save the thing. I think that's interesting. Like, I like
that too.
Stephanie here, all of this chaos is going on, and then to add everything on top of that, they're still vampires. They still want to drink Bella's blood at the end of the day. Like, it's just...
It's nice that Rosalie had the will to be like, get me out of here. Yeah. Please, because I'm going to kill them.
Imagine if she just, like, all of a sudden started to, like, drinking Bella's blood.
It's really worst case scenario possible.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
they didn't know it was going to be like this.
Yeah. And then Renesmee is born, and you have this few seconds of peace where Edward whispers Renesmee, and he gives her to Bella, and Bella holds her, and then she bites Bella, and then Bella basically dies.
Yeah. Very
And-
sad. But then they're freaking out because, with the last doll got a lump, her heart faltered and went silent. She missed maybe half of one beat, and then my hands were on her chest doing compressions. I counted in my head, trying to keep the rhythm steady. 1, 2, 3, 4. So they're trying to save her.
It's so sad. Edward says, take the baby urgently. And Jacob says, throw it out the window. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah.
And then Rosalie comes in for the baby. And they start kind of like freaking out. And Edward's like, okay, it's time. And he stabs the syringe of his venom into Bella's chest. And then...
How'd it get it in there? The venom.
That's a bonkers young Belle. Jackie.
That's what I was thinking. I don't want to say it, but...
His saliva? I don't know.
I don't
know how it works.
know.
But then it was like he was kissing her, brushing his lips at her throat, at her wrists, into the crease at the inside of her arm. But I could hear the lush tearing of her skin as his teeth bit through again and again, forcing venom into her system at as many points as possible. I saw his pale tongue sweep along the bleeding gashes, but before this could make me either sick or angry, I realized what he was doing. Where his tongue washed the venom over her skin, it sealed shut, holding the poison and the blood inside her body. Kind of hot.
Yeah, it is kind of hot, but it's so sad and desperate. I like when Jacob says, I kept pumping her heart, counting while he worked manically over her, trying to put her back together. All the king's horses and all the king's men. But there's nothing there, just me, just him, working over a corpse. Because it's all that was left of the girl we both loved, this broken, bled out, mangled corpse. We couldn't put Bella back together again. Like, that sounds like a poem or something. It's so beautiful.
And he's saying, like, it's too late, like, she wasn't here anymore.
Yeah, and then Edward goes, go then, he snapped, and he hit my hands out of my way again, taking my place this time.
3 fingers broken, it felt like.
Yeah.
Edward
like,
breaks his fingers.
Edward's not willing to give up that Bella's dead, and he's so manic and desperate, and it's so sad. I would love to read this in Edward's point of view, but I think it would kill me.
So sad.
And I just wrote that I love hearing Edward react to thoughts. Like, Jacob says, he pushed her dead heart faster than I had. And then Edward says, she's not dead, he growled. She's going to be fine.
Yeah, he's like just reacting to everything he thinks. So Jacob kind of gives up and walks outside of the room and, kind of just wants to, he says he wants to pour bleach inside his head.
Yeah, I loved that line, actually.
Yeah, and he's just so upset and thinks Bella's dead, basically. And he's going over to kill the baby, actually. That's his plan. And he's, like, thinking about how Rosalie is so absorbed and so, caught up in the baby that she's not even going to notice. And he's like, oh, sick. Like, well, he doesn't say it in those words, but I can totally catch her off guard. I'm just going to kill this baby. But then we have this freaking moment where Rosalie lifts the baby up and he makes eye contact with this infant. And its warm brown eyes, the color of milk chocolate, the exact same color that Bella's had been. My shaking jerked to a stop. Heat flooded through me, stronger than before, but it was a new kind of heat, not a burning. It was a glowing.
Yeah.
Everything inside me came undone as I stared at the tiny porcelain face of the half vampire, half human baby. All the lines that held me to my life were sliced apart in swift cuts, like clipping the strings to a bunch of balloons. Everything that made me who I was, my love for the dead girl upstairs, my love for my father, my loyalty to my new pack, the love of my other brothers, my hatred for my enemies, my home, my name, myself, disconnected from me in that second, snip, 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 and floated up into space. I was not left drifting. A new string held me where I was. Not one string, but a million. Not strings, but steel cables. A million steel cables all tying me to one thing, to the very center of the universe. I could see that now, how the universe swirled around this one point. I'd never seen the symmetry of the universe before, but now it was plain. Blah, 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 blah. Renesmee.
I have to say, that line that the paragraph that you just read about the balloons and the snip, snip, snip.
Yeah, I get it.
I get it, and I actually reading that, I was like, I love this paragraph. What a beautiful way to describe it. And for a second, I was entranced in it, but I wish it was not about Renesmee. Like, I think it's such a beautiful, like, to me, this sounds like how you feel like if you fell in love with someone, you found your soulmate. And I think it's such a beautiful description. But the fact that it's a baby is just too much for me, especially since I was shipping him and Leah so much, and now it's just cut short.
It'd be cool if he was thinking this about Leah.
Yeah, if you all of a sudden was like, what? Like, I'm imprinting on Leah? Or just I'm in love with her?
It is beautiful. And, like, this is a super overused word, and I even just said this to you in a group message. Problematic is such an overused word lately, but, like, yeah, I mean, it's kind of problematic to say, like, everything that made me who I was is gone, except for this, like,
my love for my father
doesn't matter anymore.
That's not healthy.
I do feel like it still is really poetic, and, like, if it was about an adult, I would be, like, there for it.
Yeah.
But it's about baby. But then, so this, guys, this is the end of Jacob's book. From upstairs, there was a new sound, the only sound that could touch me in this endless instant. A frantic pounding, a racing beat, ... a changing heart. That's the end.
Is it changing heart his heart?
I think it's supposed to be double meaning, like his heart's changing and Bella's heart is changing.
Oh, yeah. Wait, so he can hear Bella's heart changing?
I think so, yeah.
Oh, okay. So we know Bella's going to be okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Being into vampire peeps.
This whole Renesmee thing as well, I feel like if I was reading this for the first time, which I once did, I don't remember how I felt. What a plot twist here.
Such a plot twist.
I mean, this chapter is probably the craziest, most intense chapter in the whole series. Like, after everything we just went through, all of a sudden, Jacob imprints on the baby. Like, it cannot get any more insane than that.
I know. I remember when I first read it being the same way. Like, what?
Yeah. Like, this is the kind of chapter you read where you have to put it down.
Yeah.
You can't keep going after this.
It's just insane.
Yeah.
Overall, I'm going to say I enjoyed Jacob's book.
You know what? I really did too. As you know, I was putting off reading it, and so I was like really behind. And Kelly earlier was like, "So we're gonna record this week." I was like, "Oh God, I haven't started," but I read it really quickly. I really enjoyed it.
It's actually cool, I think, to read the wolves' thoughts and that whole dynamic, and seeing Edward and Bella from third person point of view is cool.
I didn't like some parts of just like sitting around.
Yeah.
As much.
There's a lot of that.
Or some of the parts with the wolves felt like throwaway dialogue of just, it's a monstrous thing, we gotta kill it.
Yeah,
blah, blah. I'm like,
I'll do another loot. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I'm just like reading all these lines. It's like, okay, I get it. There's a lot of back and forth.
But overall, I found Jacob's point of view to be like refreshing, interesting, and I don't know, what do you think it would have been like if it was still in Bella's point of view?
Well, okay, so this is why I don't think that it's possible to have it in Bella's point of view. She's so disoriented from so much that just her sitting on the couch feeling sick, being weak, would have been so boring.
That's so true.
And you would have missed out on all of this other stuff that's happening with the pack because she's not there and she's too weak to experience it. And then also the birth scene. Yeah. It was so intense. If she's in and out of consciousness, it just would have not worked.
You're right. It would have been boring. She is just lying there.
Yeah. Like, if you're going to go with this route that Bella is going to have this baby, you have to put it in someone else's point of view because it's...
Otherwise, it would be like Carlisle just walking in the room and being like, the pack is split up.
Yeah.
And she's like, what?
Yeah.
That wouldn't be interesting.
And then being like, your VP is, or whatever. Yeah. It would have been boring. I'm sure she's just doing a lot of sleeping and... Yeah.
We don't need it.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll be reading the next book next time.
Oh my God, it's kind of sad. The next episode will be the end of the series.
Yeah. We still
the
will
book
have
series.
Midnight Sun and Life and Death
Life
to
and Death.
read, and the movie, and more things.
More things, yeah. It's not
That.
the end, but oh my gosh, this is crazy.
I know.
Yeah, tell us what you guys think.
Yeah.
Um,
Please do.
It's probably gonna be a long episode.
Alrighty, well, we'll see you next time.
I'll see you. Thank you for listening.
Mwah.
Bye.
Bye.
See you next Tuesday.
See ya. You can contact us at anotherbiteoftwilight@gmail.com or find us on Twitter, Tumblr, and Instagram at Another Bite of Twilight. The music is by Traces. See you next time.